Green Wave, I should say, you got to be aware this is a track game. You don't want to look ahead. This is a very dangerous James Allen team. You heard Ike say it earlier. They don't necessarily play as well as they practice. You don't want tonight to be that night that it all comes together. And for James Allen, like we just said, play like you practice. It needs to transfer from the practice field to the game field. They'll have an opportunity here on the opening drive to get some momentum and get the ball in the end zone.
Yeah, for Summerville, they've got James Island tonight, Stratford next week, and then Fort Dorchester to end the season. Ray Cotton kicking things off here, and Friday Night Rivals were underway from the backyard. James Island taking it at the goal line. They're going to cut it to the inside, then the outside, stay in the middle of the field up to the 38-yard line. And a great return, and what a way to start the game. That is number 6.
Yeah, nice return by Zacchaeus Pinkney. As we take a look at the starting lineup for the James Island Trojans: Drayton, Bazemore, Barry, Giddens, Rape, Hamilton, Scott, Snow, Neestad, Alston, and Latson. So, boy, would this be huge for James Island, especially after struggling all season long, Dean, to get that early momentum. That's what you got to believe that you can win, and getting points in the opening drive would do wonders for them.
Gunnar Neistad opening up in the shotgun with 5 wide receivers. First pass to the near sidelines is out of bounds. He was looking for number 14 right there. All right, let's take a look at the Summerville Green Wave, your Chevy Silverado starting lineup. It's Bracey, Mitchum, Newton, Taylor, Geddes, Grant, your linebackers, Larry, Leslie, Mack, Phillips, and Hewitt, your defensive backs. 5 wide receivers set again for James Island. Neistad back, finds one across the middle, throws a little bit behind. That's number 31 on the play, and the stop, Deontay Geddes dropping back in coverage.
We talked about it, Dean. We don't necessarily think this James Allen team wants to kind of get in a high-scoring affair with this Summerville unit. This is a team that can score plenty of points, a bunch of playmakers on the offensive side for Summerville. So James Allen, they're going to have to do a better job of controlling the clock and trying to get sustained drives against the Summerville defense.
They obviously saw something in the tape. Coach Allred said they wanted to go 70-30 on run to pass, but in this game right now, it is all pass. Third down completion, going to come up about a yard short. Neistad with his first completion, 1 of 3 now, as the ball moves up to the 48-yard line.
It looked like a nice reception made by Jake Scott on the reception here. Nothing fancy here, Dean, just a nice 3-step drop for the Trojans. And the pass completed over the middle, but not enough for the first down. So crucial 4th down coming up for the Trojans, and it looks like they're going to go for it, Dean.
Yeah, they're going to go back in the Wildcat. They're going to bring in Vincent as quarterback. Summerville's going to jump up in the line of scrimmage. A nice stop at the line. Let's see where they spot it. The spot by the referee at the top of your screen looks like it's going to be a first down.
Really by both officials, because they're standing right on the 50-yard line, and if that's where they spot the football, it's going to be a first down for James Allen.
That's Ben Mitchum, all 5'11", 293 pounds of him, thought he got the stop.
And I don't know, Dean, that was a favorable spot because it didn't look like the ball actually touched the 50-yard line, but they don't have replay in high school, obviously, so it'll be a first down for the Trojans, and they'll extend this drive.
It'll be 1st and 10 from the 50-yard line. And I would agree with you, that spot questionable, but James Island's not going to complain here in a 1-6 campaign. They need breaks. They got one right there. Again, 5 wide receivers, going to throw the ball. Number 4, that's Derek Larry, jumps the route, takes it across midfield, going to cut back. He's got nothing but green grass on the other side, picks up a nice block, 2 along the way. He's going to be brought down at the 19-yard line.
Yeah, big block, as you talked about there, from Colby Taylor down the field, a linebacker, but Derek Larry, the 5'9" junior, with the interception. And you're right, Dean, he read that all the way, got a good jump on the ball, and the first turnover of the night forced by the Green Wave defense.
Also, the receiver fell down on the play for Neistad, just his 5th interception on the year as compared to 7 touchdowns. But you see the nice run there by number 4, Derek Larry.
He had a lot of his defensive teammates getting down the field and trying to spring him open. You'd like to see when the guys, your teammates, try to assist you getting into the end zone.
So Jonathan Bennett's going to take over the offense here with a couple of backs behind him. He's going to give it to his main back there, number 24, Daryl Hancock's going to take it on the counter play, pick up maybe a yard or so.
Yeah, Hancock, a 5'8" senior, 160-pounder, built low to the ground. As we take a look at the starting lineup for Summerville, Collins, Bean, Unigro, Hutto, Powell on the front line. Banks, McCurry, Gregg, Davis. Quarterback is Jonathan Bennett. And as we just mentioned, Darryl Hancock is the running back. But look at the matchup at the top. You got Shaq Davis, who's 6'5", being guarded by a pretty small DB. I expect to see a lot of jump balls to Shaq Davis tonight.
Bennett's going to give it to Hancock back inside, stepping left, right, and good back in the middle for a pickup of about 5 yards to make it a 3rd down and 4.
You know, you mentioned, Dean, before the game just how small this James Allen team was physically. So this massive offensive line for Summerville, if they can control the line of scrimmage, it's going to be a long night for this Trojan defense. Chestnut, Seymour, as we were taking a look at the starting lineups for the Trojans.
The starting lineups brought to you by Chevy Silverado. So a 3rd and 4 for Jonathan Bennett. One back behind him. Shaq Davis at the top of your screen. McCurry in the slot. They're going to go back to the run game. And Hancock with a nice move to the outside. Going to get into the end zone for a Summerville touchdown. That's your Berkeley Electric Cooperative's touchdown, energy touchdown. And they capitalize on the turnover.
Yeah, nice in and out run that time by Hancock. Did a nice job of setting up his run around the outside. Kind of got the defense to kind of think he was coming up the middle. Did a nice job of bouncing it to the outside and able to get into the end zone for the first time tonight.
For Hancock, his 8th rushing touchdown of the year as Summerville jumps on the board with 9:15 left in the first quarter. That's Garrett Quackenbush converting the PAT. So Summerville takes the turnover, the interception by Larry, and turns into the points by Hancock.
And you know, Dean, when you're trying to snap a losing streak, it's been a very frustrating season for James Allen. You almost have to play a perfect game, not off to the start that the James Allen Trojans wanted.
7-0 Summerville. We're back to the backyard after this. Welcome back to the backyard on James Island, where the Trojans have gone down quickly, 7-0 to Summerville. The man with the best seat in the house, our 3rd member of our team, Josh Rogers, joining us now from the sidelines. Josh?
Hey, Dino, yeah, the Green Wave looking to continue their momentum, looking for 5 wins in a row, trying to roll over the Trojans here, but bringing the action from the sidelines and maybe ask head coach Joe Call exactly what went into that decision to wear all white tonight for the first time in school history. Back to you.
All right, Josh, thanks so much. Ray Cotton set up to kick it off. 2 receivers deep for James Island. Ball's going to drop at the 10. He's going to step out of bounds. And we talk about those little mental mistakes. There's another one right there.
Yeah, you know that ball's going to go out of bounds, so simply let the ball go out of bounds and pick up about 13 to 15 yards because of that. But unfortunately, he stepped out of bounds, and so 1st down and 10. But inside their 10-yard line, as you mentioned, Dean, they'll start at the 7.
Zacchaeus Pinckney. Let's see if Ike Allred changes his game plan at all. He opened up that first drive with 4 passes.
You absolutely, Dean, cannot have a 3 and out here if you're a James Allen. You got to get something going momentum-wise.
Got Vincent at quarterback now, going to hand it off inside for a short game.
It seems like Vincent appears to be the more athletic quarterback, maybe can make things happen outside of the pocket if the rush comes from Summerville. So but that's a great option that James Allen has, is having a two-headed monster at quarterback.
It's Daquan Vincent. Going to hand it off again, trying to get to the outside, out to about the 11-yard line, picking up just a 1 or 2 yards on the play is Jermaine Alston, the running back we featured at the top of this broadcast.
It looked like Colby Taylor there on the stop, the 6'1" junior who also had the big block on the previous possession, the interception return.
Vincent not throwing the ball a ton this year. You got 5 green wave kind of jumping into the box right there. Ike Allred told me earlier this week, we're going to have to play it exactly the way Summerville kind of reacts to what we're doing. Vincent back looking, he's going to step up. He's going to try to run it. He's got to pick up a couple of yards, and he's going to be awfully close to this first down. And again, the official on the near side looks to give him a positive spot. The official on the far side seems to be a little short, but it's going to be a James Allen first down. A nice run by Vincent.
Yeah, Cole Phillips on the tackle, but that's the dimension that Vincent brings. He has that ability to tuck it and take off and run and make something happen. So a big first down for the Trojans.
You get up 1st and 10 for the 17. Alston work back on the inside, working hard just to make it back to the line of scrimmage.
We talked about the physical size of the Summerville front. The defensive line just as big as the offensive line, and when we look at what James Allen's going against, they're going to definitely have to use their speed, Dean, to be able to open up some of these gaps and kind of get to the defensive line before they can get their hands on them.
Call it 2nd and 8 from the 20-yard line. Vincent with a deep drop, looking for the screenplay on the left side. Not there. Going to make something happen. Splits the defenders. He's got a little bit of room to run. A flag back behind the play at the line of scrimmage, and it was a late flag. Looks to maybe negate about a 15-yard pickup by Daquan Vincent.
Yeah, what would have been a first down run as we wait to get the official call. To be holding against James Allen. An athletic scramble that time by Vincent.
You see he wants to go left with the screen. That breaks down.
Where's Tan? Kind of holds the ball kind of funny, Dean. Does it remind you of another guy that wore tan?
No.
Oh, I'm not literally,
doesn't.
but just from the way he carries the football and the number.
Why would you start in on VY10 on the eve of the Texas OU game, still in the first quarter of this game?
I was just simply saying, he wears tan. He kind of runs like VY, But needless to say, that will negate the first down, so it'll be 2nd down and coming up for James Allen.
It'll be about a 2nd and 20 here from the 8-yard line. Vincent back in shotgun again. He's got movement, a nice hard count. You can see his body jerk. And then you saw the Summerville offensive line or defensive line jerk as well.
That's always a good way to pick up an easy 5 yards to kind of knock off some of those yards that they lost with the penalty. But still, you got 2nd down and 14. And James Allen very athletic. Still not had the opportunity to get the ball into the hands of Jermaine Alston, at least out in space. So let's see what maybe he can do.
Alston single back set. You talk about the defensive line, and you're talking about some big boys. Ben Mitchum, 99, is 293. Number 98, Chandler Newton, is 302. And then, oh, by the way, a guy who Joe Call said will probably play on Saturday. Number 7 is Jimmy Bracey, 6'4", 220. Oh, you love your Zaxby's, and they certainly love them here on James Island. Our fans cam down on the sidelines tonight. Kids looking for some chicken fingers, no doubt.
Right now, James Allen looking for some offense. Hopefully they can pick up about 14 yards here on this play.
3rd and 12 for Vincent. Pressure from the backside and the inside. And there you see Jimmy Bracey kind of cleaning up the mess inside. So the sack is going to be a loss of 7 yards. And that's going to make it 4th and 17. And here comes the punting unit.
6'4", 220, got off around the edge. And, really no chance for Vincent here. And man, 6'4", 220, and then in the middle you got 6'3", 302. That's a grown man, Dean Stevens.
Absolutely. Somerville pushing it hard, and they're going to get a push up the middle and the block and a recovery for the touchdown. That's number 31, Deontay Geddes, the linebacker. So the special teams now picks up a score. And a great push up front by that Summerville special teams line.
Was that Dion Williams that recovered it, Dean, or did you say Gaddis? Because it looks like the block came from, can't tell who, may have been Colby Taylor. But yeah, you're right, 31 with the recovery. Actually, well, officially it does go to Dion Williams as the ball squirted away from Deontay Geddes. But needless to say, that's the second touchdown of the night for the Green Wave.
One block deserves another. It's a fire drill, and it's going to be a 2-point conversion as Olin McCurry with a difficulty with the snap, and then he hits number 5, Andre Banks, the tight end. So that insult to injury, that 13-0 lead. McCurry just smartly picks it up, sees that there's going to be a problem, and then he throws it for the 2-point conversion. So now 15-0, the Green Wave with 5:55 on the clock.
Yeah, you just yell fire, fire, fire. Everybody turns and they look, and a nice catch by Andre Banks. If you're Ike Allred, you could not possibly get off to a worse start than what has happened here tonight at the backyard.
Well, this is exactly what we talked about earlier in this week. He was like, these are, young players. They had 2 injuries earlier in this year, lost 2 of their best offensive linemen. Up until that point, they were averaging about 32 points a game in their first 4 games. That was a loss to St. John's, a loss to Wren. They beat Oceanside and then lost to Stratford, but still putting up 32 points a game. And then they ran into trouble after those injuries. They've averaged just 9 points a game in the last 3. And he said it's the identity of the offense that they're struggling with. You saw Neistat on the first series struggling throwing the ball, and then he goes back to Vincent, positive yardage pickup. But what do? Young team, holding penalty, back it on up.
Yeah, right now they're just trying to find anything, any type of positive, hopefully able to string along a couple of first downs. And just right now, nothing going the right way for James Allen.
All right, there's the kick again. Pinckney takes it at the 5. Going to try to cut it to the outside, bring it back. Backside pressure is going to drop him at about the 23-yard line.
Great coverage by the Green Wave there. By Kevon Gregory as well as Cole Phillips. First 2 Green Wave down to make the stop. For the 3rd time tonight. This James Allen offense will take the field.
We'll start it at the 24-yard line. It looks like Neistat will come back in.
And maybe trying to, if you're going to throw the football, some safe passes, like a 5-yard curl or just something that, does not have the high risk of, being picked off, but just simple throws to kind of get the quarterback in a rhythm.
Well, in his first few pass attempts on that very first series, he had the time back in the pocket, was just off the mark a little bit.
Right.
And then on the interception, just eyeballed his receiver on that far sidelines. And then Larry able to jump the route, make the pick. And that led to 3 plays later, a Summerville touchdown, put him up 7-0.
If you're the Summerville offense, you've only been on the field thus far for 3 plays, but yet you got 15 points.
Neistat back again, is going to step up in the pocket, looking for some room to run. He's going to throw it. He's got a receiver across the middle down to the 42-yard line. So the first completion of the game to number 16, that's Rodney Hamilton. Right now, let's set it down to our 3rd member of our team, Josh Rogers. Josh, what you got going on?
All right, guys, joined by Curtis Shelton of Marchant Chevrolet in Ravenel. And, people hear Ravenel and they might think, all right, that's pretty far away, but not really.
No, actually, it's not far at all. We're about 12 minutes south of Citadel Mall on Savannah Highway, so it really doesn't take long at all to get out to us. And if you think about, the traffic that you're going to encounter throughout town, you could probably get to Ravenel quicker than some other places around town. So.
All right, so not only can we get to you quickly, but you have some of the best pricing in the Low Country as well.
We have some wonderful pricing. When we opened up the store about 25 years ago, we made a decision we were going to price all our vehicles at $98 over invoice. That's invoice, not MSRP. And then we look for every possible rebate that the customer is eligible for. If there's a trade-in, we're going to give you a fair price for the trade. And then all you add is tax and tags. That's it. We make it real simple.
All All right, you make it real simple, and what kind of experience can the customer expect when they come to your dealership?
First of all, they're going to be treated like family. It's a very warm. We're there to help out. We're going to knock this out very quickly. Our pricing allows us to give you a number on the car that you want to buy in just a few minutes. If you decide you want to buy that car, we can have everything taken care of. I'm talking about the paperwork, financing, have the car filled up with gas, cleaned up, everything, usually in less than an hour.
Awesome. So it's all about speed at Marchant Chevrolet, and it's all about speed on the field right now for the James Island Trojans, trying to move the ball down against the Green Wave. Back to you in the booth.
All right, Josh, thanks so much. So a couple of long completions there. They've moved the ball down to the Summerville 36-yard line, 2nd and 10, after a drop ball on the first down play.
Finally, the Trojans in Green Wave territory, so if anything, they flip the field, so now they have some breathing room to work.
Nice dad with the quick pitch there to Desmond Mitchell. I believe, no, Jaden Scott, excuse me. It's Jaden Scott. One of the freshmen we talked about, starting 5, 6, 7 players, freshmen and sophomores on offense and defense. That's a young team.
Very young team, and then you see Derek Larry there with the stop. Youth, that's the one thing you can't teach, Dean. I mean, if you don't have experience, you just don't have it, but it's growing pains. And right now, if you're Ike Allred, you just want your team to play through this adversity, and boy, would it be good to see them get some points here in the first quarter to answer what has happened so far against Summerville.
3rd and 7 from the 34. Here comes pressure on the outside. Nice toss. Just a little too quick out of the break. I'm not sure that, I believe that was number 5.
You know, last week it was
Coker.
It was Timberland with the jerseys that weren't the easiest to read, and so now it's James Island with the gray numerals on the blue jersey.
So we got 4th and 8 right here. Neistad looking in their second 4th down attempt. They converted the first one on their first series. 3 receivers on the top side of the screen. Looking inside, going to throw it across the middle. Oh, my goodness, what a great pass. Even better catch. I believe that is number 16, Rodney Hamilton. That was almost a back shoulder throw across the middle of the field.
Yeah, great adjustment that time by Hamilton. Kind of let the defender go by him and came behind him and came up with the big catch. So a big play by Rodney Hamilton, and the drive will continue for the James Island Trojans. And all of a sudden, this offense has a little pep in its step as it approaches the end of the first quarter.
15-yard pickup by the James Island Trojans. Now they've got something going. They're working fast. They've got a slant across or a toss to the wide receiver on the outside. Puts his shoulder down. Going to pick up another 6 yards on the play. Just a little swing pass out to number 14. That's Dionel Cromwell.
And Marquise Leslie there on the stop for the Green Wave. Again, nothing fancy. He puts his guy in motion and just hits him with a swing pass. And those are the types of high percentage passes that if James Island can complete throughout the game, it gives them a chance. It keeps the clock moving, but it also allows them to pick up 5 and 6 yards every time they run it.
2nd and 4 from the 6-yard line with 3:06 on the clock. Again, it's this 5 wide receiver set. Summerville looking like they're showing pressure. They're going to fall back of it. And looked like there was a little bit of miscommunication between number 14, that's Dionel Cromwell, and the quarterback. He had 2 receivers on that side.
Which sometimes is better than having no receivers in the area.
Yes.
But still unable to complete the pass. So now they'll bring in the running quarterback, being Daquan Vincent on this 3rd down. And let's see if he can either pass or throw his way for 5 yards.
So 3rd and 4 from the 6. Pressure on the outside is coming, and nowhere to run except he's going to try to run backwards a little bit. The pressure put on there by Derek Larry. The man with the interception comes up with a great pressure on the right side of that edge.
Yeah, also Deontay Geddes there to lead the charge for the Green Wave defense. And anytime you have 1 blue jersey and 4 or 5 white jerseys, probably not going to end well as he lost 6 yards on that play.
Surprised that they went to the run when they were so successful with the pass.
Right, or maybe even a situation where you spread the defense out and allow Vincent to use his athleticism to create something on the perimeter.
It was the first running play of this series. 10 plays in, they pick up a run. Now they're sticking at 4th and 10. Vincent back looking, going to step into his throw. He's got a man wide across the end zone. And that, my friends, is a Berkeley Electric Cooperative Touchstone Energy touchdown, and an absolute perfect strike by Vincent.
It looked like Rodney Hamilton just ran a skinny post. And able to beat the guy, get on the inside of the defender. And a nice just step, throw right on the mark. And the first points of the night for the Trojans.
And a very, very important drive. You've got to know that after they give up a touchdown off of a turnover, and then a block punt leads to a touchdown as well. And the people that are rested here, another blocked field goal by Summerville. They have got something working on that special teams line. So it's a 14-6 game. But as you said, the James Island defense, extremely rested.
Exactly.
They haven't played at all.
But 3 plays. So, boy, you talk about being able to ride that momentum. If they can somehow get on the field and get a 3 and out against this Green Wave offense and kind of get the ball back in the hands of that offense, which has to be feeling really good now after a rocky start. But to be able to come back, face adversity, and to be able to respond with 6 points, I think that says a lot about just the fight that this James Island football team has.
And one of the assistant coaches told me, he said the thing that we got to work through is when we have negative plays, you can see the body language of our players just kind of slump. But in this particular instance, down 15, they put together a whale of a drive.
Yeah, that was about 70, 76 yards, if I'm not mistaken, on that drive. So bad plays are going to happen. You're going to face adversity. It's how you respond to it. Usually tells you how things are going to go. So a big drive by the offense of James Island. Now let's see if the defense can put forth that same effort as they try to get Shaq Davis and the Green Wave offense off of the field.
Yep, 11 plays, 76 yards unofficially. Henry Crowther kicking off for James Island, and a sophomore. Kicks the knuckleball, going to go out at the 10-yard line. Olin McCurry watching it go out. They will set this ball up at the 35. But we do have a flag down at the 5-yard line.
Speaking of knuckleball, Dean, congratulations to your Houston Astros.
Thank you.
Playing tonight. Our other partner, Darren Goldwater, not as fortunate as his Nationals. Just they're always
struggled.
They're the bridesmaid, just never the bride. They can get
struggled.
to the postseason, just can't seem to win a series.
It has been a really crazy postseason. We'll talk about that later in the night. Let's talk about this offense. Jonathan Bennett setting up at the 35-yard line. He's going to throw it on the outside and a little bit over the head of Olin McCurry. And what they want to see out of Jonathan Bennett is to simplify his play. Joe Call told me not every play has to be a social media highlight.
Exactly, and he mentioned before the game, just speaking with Coach Call, just that it's a lot of times that the play is there for Jonathan Bennett, and he referred to last week, he had Shaq Davis wide open down the field and just simply overthrew him. So those situations where sometimes you should need to just take some off the ball, just calm down and just have finesse. Everything can't be a fastball.
He's got special talent. He can do a little bit of everything. He's got a good arm, and he runs the ball well. Speaking of running the ball well, that's Hancock to the outside, down to the 50-yard line, going to be pushed out of bounds. That is by number 31 by James Island. That 31 is Logan Amons, a junior defensive back, 6'3", 195, but a first down for the Green Wave.
And the other tall wide receiver, Anthony Gregg, the 6'5 senior with a key block right there, as you can see. I love it when wide receivers block down the field for their backs. Always so important. But when you got 2 6'5 wide receivers, and you're looking at the DBs for James Island being 6 feet or less.
Yep. I mean, look down the bottom of your screen. Shaq Davis. Bennett's going to go back inside, fake it, going to pull it out. Looks like he was tipped at the line of scrimmage. May have been by that number 85, Major Chestnut.
We'll go with it. Also on the coverage was Mark Walker. But yeah, I mean, if I'm Joe Call, you have that, and give credit to James Island. They're playing man coverage on the outside, so it's not like they have a lot of safety help over the top as well. So I don't know if Coach Call is just trying to set the defense up, but yeah, it's going to be a lot of jump balls.
Chestnut, 6'5", 210. Bennett looking down the field. Now he's got Shaq Davis, who pulls up, stops running the route at about the 25-yard line. If he keeps sprinting, that ball's in his hands. He's got another 20 to pay dirt.
But also, even in that situation, Dean, what you want to do is throw the ball short let him stop, jump, and go get it. So as you see right here, if he just takes about 2 or 3 yards off of that and just let Shaq stop, jump, and get it, it's an easy catch for him because he has a defender that's 5'9". So just again, he has to adjust his throws.
So they're going to come out with a 4 wide receiver set. Hancock in the backfield. James Island looking for a stop now on 3rd and 10. The ball at their own 49. Not much pressure on Bennett. He's got all day to look, but he's got nowhere to go. Getting thrown around. That ball will not be picked up as the DB came off of, he was kind of pushed out of bounds. But the interesting part of that play, as the James Island defensive line would never quit, was just the battle going on the outside between Shaq Davis.
Yeah, I mean, very physical and did not allow Shaq to shed the block. So great physicality by the James Island cornerbacks. While they may be small in stature, those guys are physical and they definitely came to play.
So a 3rd and 10 at the 49 is stopped. Our referee crew having a conversation at the 44.
Well, there's a flag. I didn't even see it back at the 40.
Let's see what it's going to be. They're going to call intentional grounding on Bennett,
So
which was interesting because Davis was in the neighborhood down the sidelines about 30 yards.
That'll be a loss of down, Dean. Let's take a look at the replay here. So he rolls right, really nothing. And Wazzie just kind of got rid of it. Didn't really see the end of that, but
Yep, be a loss of down, so 4th down. About 25 to go, so the punting unit out for the white helmet green wave. Really interesting sequence of plays for Summerville right there.
oh boy.
And a bad snap. McCurry's going to pick it up, and he's going to throw it out. And a really smart play not to catch the ball.
And not only to not catch it, but not kick the ball out of the back of the end zone, because that would have resulted in a safety and them getting the ball back. So smart play by the punt team, and that's back-to-back weeks now, Dean, that we've seen bad snaps on the punt team that resulted in big plays for the opposition.
You see McCurry throwing it right there, and I don't know if he intended to drop it, but because he did, they picked up about 20 yards, pushing James Island back. But another opportunity here by James Island as they switch the quarterbacks going back to Vincent now, and they're back to the run. Up the minute, Alston. He's going to pick up 5-6 yards as he falls forward to the 29-yard line.
Yeah, you got to ride the hot hand, and right now the hot hand definitely belongs to Daquan Vincent. A nice strong run by Jermaine Alston, the 5'11", 210-pound senior running back, and a fumble. And those are the plays that kill young football teams. You had excellent field position, an opportunity to drive down and put another 6 or 7 on the board, and you just a bad exchange on the handoff.
Well, it was interesting watching. They were trying to get off a quick snap, and it seemed like the whole process was rushed, and the handoff was never secured to Alston. Ball on the ground, easy pickup for Summerville. Yeah. So a second turnover in this quarter by James Island, down 15-6.
Yeah, Jimmy Bracey, the 6'4" senior defensive end there. Johnny on the spot, being in the right place at the right time.
See what Summerville does now. If they go to the run, they want to pass the ball. It's going to be Hancock to the left side. There's Chestnut slowing down the force or slowing down the run, allowing his teammates to come in and make the tackle for a short gain by Hancock.
And a nice job by that front 4 of James Island, trying to stretch it out to allow his teammates to come behind and help with the tackle. So, yeah, you don't ever want to let those guys turn the corner. So, good job by the James Island defensive front.
So the clock ticking down under a minute now. 40 seconds. Again, it's Bennett on the far side. He's going to look left, and he's going to throw left. And a great catch, great leap, great hands by Shaq Davis. Spotted at the 30-yard line, a flag on the play. But you talked about the leaping abilities. How about the hands?
Yeah, I would not be surprised if this is not offensive pass interference. Looked like Shaq kind of got a little bit of separation, but that's because he kind of gave him a nudge. So let's see what the official call is here. Pass interference, and yep, offensive against Shaq. Which is kind of shocking because, again, when you have about 5 to 6 inches advantage over the DB. Really no need to kind of create that separation.
No.
I mean, just stop and go up and get the ball. Now, that time, Jonathan Bennett kind of did throw a line drive instead of throwing it up in the air. But you see right there where he kind of nudged him off and allowed him to. But what a catch by Shaq Davis, a young man who's already received, I believe, 4 or 5 Division I basketball offers.
Maybe Rod Gardner's been teaching him how to play the wide receiver position.
Speaking of Rod Gardner, Clemson and Syracuse are tied at 14, Dean Stevens.
Very good. Thank you for that. So Gibbs on the outside. Again, that 5'9" sophomore D-Bay. He wants to go back that way, but a wheel route, and that is to number 2. Wide open on the play is Pedro Rios Jr. The junior, 5'11" junior, comes out of the little wheel route, picks up a nice gain for Summerville to negate the loss of the 40-yard play earlier.
And despite throwing off of his back foot, nice finesse, nice touch that time by Jonathan Bennett. The defense kind of had so much attention on Shaq Davis that they forgot Mr. Rios coming out of the backfield.
And that is the end of the first quarter coming up right here as Summerville will end on a positive play. And a really interesting aspect and an interesting observation here. That ball spotted on the 50. Won't have to move an inch.
Exactly.
It's a 15-6 Summerville game. You're watching Friday Night Rivals, driven by Low Country Chevy dealers. We're coming back to the backyard. Welcome back to James Island, a 15-6 Summerville lead, taking a lead on a block punt for a touchdown. Let's crunch some numbers, brought to you by Heritage Trust Federal Credit Union. Earlier this week, the finalist for Mr. Football in the state of South Carolina, the carry-on joiner. Nope, we'll do that next. This is the Region 7 5A standings. We're talking about Fort Dorchester, Summerville 4-0, Ashley Ridge 4-1, playing Fort Dorchester right now, and a big lead in that game. And then James Island 0-4, so still pretty tight in the middle of the pack. All right, so 1st and 10 for the 50-yard line. Bennett down, finds McCurry. He's going to sit down on it with a nice catch for 20 yards.
And again, that goes to show if Bennett takes his time and delivers that ball to him in stride, he could possibly still be running. So he had to kind of stop, wait, and come back to the football on that particular play. So, but needless to say, still a completion for the Green Wave.
So Bennett becoming a bit more accurate the last couple of throws that we saw.
Starting to get comfortable, I believe, as the weather's drop. The
1st and 10
drop.
from the 32. Bennett looks left, going to throw left. He's got McCurry wide open in the slot and missed him at the 10-yard line. All right, here we go. Crunch some numbers. Brought to you by Heritage Trust Federal Credit Union. To carry on Joyner, the quarterback from Fort Dorchester, joining Channing Tyndall. He's a linebacker from Spring Valley. He's the second-rate prospect in the state. He's selected to the U.S. Army All-American game. And then Amir Abrams, a running back out of Newberry. More than 5,000 yards in his career. And then, of course, Colton Bailey, who we saw last year, Chapman, quarterback, defending champion, and then Connor Shugart, a linebacker from Spartanburg as well.
Well, I've only seen one of those guys play, and that guy's very good. That being the Carry-On Joyner.
How about a really nice play there by number 7, James Island defense, stepping up to make that tackle.
Jamonta Brisbane.
Yeah, Brisbane, the senior, knows how to play this game. He's got 95 tackles on the year. Make it 96.
A nice job of just simply stepping up, closing the gap. And now forcing a big 3rd down and 10. And Brisbane matched up one-on-one with Shaq Davis at the bottom of your screen.
He's looking left. He's going to throw left. He's got number 10 open. Off the fingertips of number 10, that's Anthony Gregg, the 6'5", 180-pound senior receiver. And boy, talk about just a fingertip away. That's exactly what that was.
Yeah, Brisbane was stride for stride with Gregg.
Text to win. Subway proud to offer you a free mobile coupon. Text subs to 44332. You'll receive an instant mobile coupon offer that will get you any 2 6-inch fresh value meals for just $12. Text subs to 44332 for a delicious offer. Some Subway message and data rates may apply. So the first 4th down attempt by Summerville. Bennett back in the pocket, pressure up the middle, pressure down to the side. He's going to throw it to the outside. He's got a man wide open. You break it, tackle 1, you break 2, and you pick up a 1st down. And that is number 5, Andre Banks, the 180-pound junior wide receiver.
Yeah, this is all Jonathan Bennett here as he avoids that tackle and then fires it over to the right side. A nice catch by Andre Banks. Makes that first guy miss. 1st and goal coming up.
If I'm not mistaken, I think we have a combined 4 for 4 on 4th down, 5 for 5 on 4th down conversions between these two teams tonight.
And that was a particular play where Bennett needed to show his arm strength, and that's exactly what he did, and that's why he has a 1st down and 10.
1st and 10 from the 14. He's going to look left, throw left.
Whoa.
Great hands by number 5 again,
Man.
Andre Banks. Banks with the left-handed, one-handed grab. That was the most impressive 3-yard gain I've seen in a while.
Ever since Odell Beckham Jr. had that one-hand catch against the Cowboys a couple of years ago, now it seems to be like the norm where everybody just kind of comes up with very spectacular one-hand catches and that was exactly what Andre Banks did on that particular play.
9:55 left, 2nd and 7 right now.
I
think he's in the huddle and he's like, did you see that catch? Did y'all see that catch?
Maybe we should put Jonathan Bennett. Maybe he should be a pitcher or a closer because, I mean, he just fires everything.
He's got 4 wide receivers all tight, almost inside the hash marks. They're going to look left. He's going to roll right. He's going to throw the ball the back of the end zone. There's Shaq Davis. And, boy, what a great defensive play. Can't catch the number as Shaq is holding his collarbone, or in that area, should I say. But what a great defensive play.
I was trying to see who.
That was number 21.
And Devontae Dickerson, the 5'11" junior defensive back. You're right. Davis landed kind of awkwardly. Immediately grabbed his shoulder. As he limps off to the sidelines.
That was number 31, Logan Amons. Looked like a 21. A little closer look, it was 31. But again, he stayed with him, got his hand up into to deflect that ball out and create a 3rd and 8 situation from the 12-yard line.
I think it should be a South Carolina High School League rule. If you wear the dark jerseys, you should be forced to wear white numerals.
I would agree with you. Bennett's back. He looks left. He's going to throw left. His little back shoulder throw to Banks. The man with the hands tonight making a deposit for a touchdown. And you know what that is? That's the Berkeley Electric Cooperative Touchstone Energy touchdown and a pad the lead to 21-6.
Banks is a tight end, but with these types of hands, man, look at that. He caught the ball at his highest point, and able to bring it down for a touchdown. And boy, he's had a big night tonight. That young man, the 5'10", 180-pound junior tight end.
Well, when you lose a receiver like Shaq Davis, and again, we don't know the situation with the young man, but Banks certainly was targeted in that entire sequence on that particular drive. He had 4 catches last week against Wando for 40 yards, just 16 catches the entire year. Seems like he's got 16 tonight.
I tell you what, I know those wide receivers have to wear gloves because I'm starting to think that Green Wave wide receivers probably very similar to what Green Bay Packer wide receivers used to kind of feel when they were, catching passes from number 4. That being, of course, Brett Favre. So I've been very impressed with the arm strength of Mr. Bennett tonight.
12-play drive, went 70 yards. And again, for the second time, converted a James Island turnover into points.
And that's the key when you're trying to snap a losing streak. You've got to play perfect football. Maybe you can even go to Zaxby's. Get some chicken wings, chicken tenders.
Anything with chicken in it. Take a look at Zaxby's tonight in our fans cam. James Island student section. Looking for something good to happen here with about 9:28 on the clock.
Speaking of good,
Yes.
Zaxby's is good, but you know what's really good about Zaxby's?
The sweet tea.
Because it has crushed ice. There's just
you're a
something
crushed
about
ice guy.
crushed ice that's just, it's a big difference maker.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Zaxby's offers, in addition to obviously all of their fries and Texas toast. And as you can tell, I'm a big fan of Zaxby's.
Here comes Pickney, cutting to the outside of the 20 to the 25, picks up a nice block. A flag is down behind the play as he's pushed out at the 47-yard line. And we go back and look at this play. What are we going to say?
Boy, another big return and another big play negated by a penalty. And usually in these situations, you don't even need it. Let's see where we can find right there. Maybe? No?
Nope.
I'm not sure. But it was definitely holding against James Island.
I didn't see it on the replay, and I didn't see it as it was happening live. But that is the call, and that will negate about a 45-yard gain, and the ball will be spotted at the 14-yard line.
So that's about easily, Dean, 60 yards of total offense for James Island, negated by penalties. And some might say, well, that's why they were able to get that wide open because of the penalty. But needless to say, this drive will be pushed back all the way back to the 14-yard line.
We're going to go back to the starting quarterback, Gunnar Neistad. He's got a single back behind him. That's Alston, the senior. Alston's going to take it up the middle. Nope, he's going to fake it, going to roll out. Quick pass and a really nice defensive play on the outside. That is number 33, Corinthian Mack.
5'7" senior DB. Right on top of the James Island Trojan. No breathing room at all. Nice fundamental tackle that time by Summerville.
Mack with a nice game last week against Wando with a touchdown return, 40 yards on the interception. So Neistad looking at a 2nd and 9. Looks right, throws right. It's got a nice seam or player in the seam, should I say. Teetering at the first down line. The marker, that is, again, number 18, Rodney Hamilton.
Hamilton's had a big night, of course. Actually, Jaquez Scott.
Yep.
Looked like 16, but it was actually 18. We wanted to give Rodney Hamilton the credit. And instead, we'll give it to Mr. Scott, the 6'1" senior.
We're going to go ahead and pull the chains and mark this. But Neistad was looking across the field to throw it, and he found the man in the slot, Scott, who's got 3 touchdowns on the year so far in this campaign.
And we've seen signs of brilliance from this James Island offense, Dean. We talked about it. 34 points early on in the season, then they had the injuries and struggled to score. So we know they can put the ball in the end zone. And even on these drives, we've seen whether it be Neistad or Vincent, both quarterbacks have looked good at times. Vincent running the football, obviously through the lone touchdown for James Island. And also Neistad. I mean, great form. Looks like his mechanics are superb. So it's just a matter of making plays and making more plays as they trail 22-16.
I mean, against Wren, they had 476 yards. Against Oceanside, 570. And then Stratford, 473. You know, Ike Allred came to town when he was hired 4 years ago. He wanted to spread the field. He wanted to go fast. He lost one of the better quarterbacks in the low country, and that really set him back. Quarterback at the time got hurt. Bus Hamilton, the running back, all of a sudden turned into Wildcat quarterback. But again, as he said, he goes, I can't use the excuse anymore of being young, even though we are.
Right. And that quarterback, I believe now up in the upper state at Northwestern, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, you're right. Anytime you can lose your signal caller, that's going to set you back.
3rd and 1 at the 24. And for the second time, Summerville jumps off sides. That's going to result in a James Island first down.
Still the easy way. Discipline. Teach you to not move until that football moves. But a fresh set of downs for James Allen.
That was on the left side of the defensive line. Neistat looking over, gets his play. 3 receivers at the top. He steps back. He's got a receiver on the outside, cuts in. And boy, Derek Larry almost came up with his second interception.
And it's almost as if they're sitting on that route. You know, they're expecting him to do the run down 10 yards and then come back. So maybe a stop and go could be in the making for James Allen, because right now the DB is just getting a nice, good jump on these passes.
So you want a little stop and go and just let them fly.
Just kind of hesitate for a second, set them up, and take off.
If you're going to do it, now would be the time to do it. 2nd and 10 from the 29-yard line. He's got a man across the middle. He's going to go back to that area, and I believe that is Rodney Hamilton that time. Breaks a tackle, carries a couple down to the 50-yard line.
Nice job by Hamilton finding that soft spot in the zone. Right, that time Summerville just basically trying to protect an area. He found the middle of that zone, just stopped, and was able to connect with his quarterback. So good job. Little extra effort. Pushes the ball into Summerville territory.
Again, Neistat, just a sophomore. Going to go back to Hancock in the middle. Going to pick up positive yardage, 4 yards. Keeps his balance, picks up another 6 and 7, and goes out of bounds. And if there's a flag, could be on a late hit. Not going to be thrown, though.
So Jermaine Alston with the big run over the right side. Another first down run, and all of a sudden, this James Allen offense starting to get into rhythm, Dean. Starting to get a little belief in themselves, knowing that they can move the football against Summerville.
The pass just opened up that middle for them to, Alston to hit that hole and then go out. He's got somebody deep across the middle. He's going to go short to the left side. A nice move on the outside. And a great open field tackle there by number 33, Corinthian Mack.
And Mack, we called his name several times tonight. And that was a long throw by Neistat across the hash marks. But he's shown that he has the arm strength as well to complete that pass. So right now they're picking up 6 to 7 yards on first down. Right now in a situation where you're in a run-throw option.
With Lucas Snow with the reception. A nice move when he caught the ball. With an official's timeout. Right now, let's take a quick break. 6:54 left on the clock. Summerville with a 21-6 lead. 22-6 lead, should I say. We're here in the backyard. Welcome back to James Island. A 21-6 Summerville lead, but the Trojans are on the move. 2nd and 4 from the 24. Neistat still in at quarterback. Interesting how they've used Vincent and Neistat. I think they've used them well tonight.
Yeah, normally you don't see that much success in a 2-quarterback system because it's hard to kind of get in rhythm, but it's worked tonight until that pass.
Well, Neistat was looking across the middle, and this is number 9. Flag is thrown on the play as Corey Hewitt has a nice run until Neistat pops him out of bounds at the 29-yard line. And it was a situation where he was about a step too late on that throw. He had him open for a moment, tried to split the seam with him, but Hewitt comes up with the pick.
Yeah, you got to throw with anticipation. You can't wait until the guy is open. You have to throw him open, and that time a good job by Hewitt. As you mentioned, Dean, almost triple coverage by the time the ball got there, but the penalty flag will bring it all the way back to Summerville territory. But needless to say, it'll be the 3rd turnover of the night for James Allen.
Gunnar Neistat maybe with the hit of the night. A little frustrated on that throw, but a block in the back is going to bring this ball back. Spot of the foul was at about the 50-yard line, so we'll see how they mark it here. Unless they threw 2 flags. It looked like they threw one early and then threw one late.
Right. Looks like he's standing at the 35, but
let's take a look right here. Yeah, he comes up behind Snow. Yep. Phantom, but watch Neistat.
Yeah, you're the quarterback.
Hello.
I don't know if Ike Allred wants your quarterback out there delivering blows like that. I think he's probably needed on the offensive end. But if that quarterback thing doesn't work out, he could be a little DB. He's got a little pop in him.
So again, 2 turnovers already resulting in 14 points. As Bennett's going to keep the ball. He's got a wall of blockers to the right, cuts it back up in the middle for a gain of 6.
Looked like that was a design run by Summerville, as Bennett will have to come off as his helmet came off, so the backup quarterback will have to take the field. And quite honestly, Dean, they don't have a backup quarterback listed on their roster.
I think looks like it's going to be Banks, number 5, barking out the orders.
I think we're going to maybe a wildcat run here. I don't think a tight end can also serve as the as a quarterback that will throw it.
He's done a little bit of everything and handed off to Rios, the wide receiver, set in the backfield, almost like a little jet sweep. And this guy's got the Jets, taking it all the way down to the James Island 45-yard line, a pickup of 25 yards.
Yeah, you had the catch on the last possession, the wheel route out of the backfield. And here, as you mentioned, Dean, just a jet sweep at the pulling guard right there, leading the way. That being Cole Collins, able to get around the right sideline before being pushed out of bounds, but not before a first down run by Rios.
A step out of bounds. They're going to mark it at about the 47-yard line of James Island as Bennett comes back in the game. 2 receivers or 2 running backs in the back row. Give it back to Rios. Looked like he struggled hanging on to the ball as he reached the 40-yard line, but able to take it down and set up a 2nd and 3. Good 7-yard pickup.
Coming into the game tonight, Darrell Hancock was the leading running back, but Rios taking the charge tonight.
My TV Charleston and ABC News 4 is proud to present each participating homeschool a check for $500. This grant provides each school with extra funding to help make their school great. Congratulations from My TV Charleston, ABC News 4, and Friday Night Rivals. Bennett back, looking left, finds McCurry on the left side. He's got a lot of open room, makes one nice move down at the 27-yard line. Plenty enough for a first down.
McCurry, Gregg, Davis, Banks. It's just so many offensive weapons for this Green Wave offense, and that's why we talked about it, the need for James Allen to really control the clock, establish the running game to keep this offense off the field.
So set up 1st and 10 from the 27-yard line. And as you take a look at this Green Wave offense, you look at the man calling the plays, and that's the head coach, Joe Call.
It's Joe, the grandson of the legendary
Hancock
coach.
inside, sees a little seam to his right side and moves it over the right side for about 3 yards. But Joe Call wanted to take over the play calling duties, and he did. You know, the transition from his grandfather to him as being a head coach. He went through an interim period, And then he was given the head coaching job. He went through a rough first year, but has really excelled now, sitting at 5-1 on the year.
And you think about it, you're the grandson. Some people may have thought, well, he's only got that position because of who his granddaddy was. But Joe has earned the right to be the head coach of Summerville, and he's now putting his stamp on the program, and good things are in store for Summerville.
Hancock or Bennett looking, made a nice move in the pocket to avoid the pressure. And those are one of the plays that Joe Call was talking about, where he just needed to throw that ball out of bounds and gets awfully lucky here not turning it over.
And you see how athletic Jonathan Bennett is, but you're right, Dean. That situation, just throw it out of bounds, but that should have been picked off, so he definitely caught a break there because of Zacchaeus Pinckney, I should say, not being able to haul in the interception.
3rd and 8 from the 26, should I say, but Joe Call just wants him to simplify his game. He said he'll be a much, much better quarterback if he does. Going to look right, going to throw right. Shaq Davis back in the game, gets his hands up, not able to bring it in, wants a flag, not going to get a flag, sets up a 4th down from the 26-yard line.
Well, first, obviously, it's good to see Shaq back on the field. Of course, he went out the last time we saw him with a shoulder injury, but couldn't quite haul that one in, so 4th down. And it looks like Coach Call is going to send out the field goal team.
Yeah, but you see the size that we're looking at with Shaq, and why college programs are going to take a look at him as a wide receiver, because he's got all the skills. This is Ray Cotton setting up for about a 43-yard field goal on the near hash to make it a 25-6 game. Cotton's shot is up, off to the right, and just a little short, so a turnover on downs. James Island will take over the ball at the 27-yard line.
4-12. Looked like he was going to have the distance, a little off to the right in terms of the aim, but.
So the first time tonight that turnovers by James Island did not lead to Summerville points. And again, James Island has moved this ball tonight. They've had sustained drives, but a turnover here and a turnover there, a penalty here, a penalty there.
Yeah, just unfortunately nothing to show for it. I mean, on the stat sheet, it's going to look impressive. Like, wow, this team is very explosive offensively, but the one area where there's not a lot of numbers, and that's the point column, is right now James Island only with 6.
Step up and run it. He does. Gets away from a man, going to move the ball up to the 5-yard line. Again, been really impressed with the James Island offensive line. That's Drayton and Bazemore, Barry, Giddens, and Rape. They've really created a pocket. When you talk about a pocket, that was a perfect circle pocket for him to stand in, and then not able to do anything with it. Took the ball ahead 5 yards and keep it a short distance here on 2nd down.
And a nice tackle by Cole Phillips, the linebacker from Summerville.
A nice pass from the far hash to the far sidelines, and the near hash to the far sidelines. Looks like, is that Lucas Snow on the outside with another catch? Gone to him a couple of times now. He indicates it's a 1st down. Yes, young man, it is, by about 6 yards.
I tell you, he picked up maybe 8 yards on the pass, but he's had to throw it at least 15 to 20 because he's clearly throwing way across the field, across the hash mark. So we've seen the athleticism of the Summerville secondary, so he's got to be careful that those guys don't jump those routes and take it to the house.
Again, 3 receivers on the right side. He's got a man here. He's going to move around. Drops down at the 30-yard line. The sack on the inside. That is big number 98, Chandler Newton. And when I say big,
6'3", 302. I wonder if he's related to Nate. I mean,
now you're showing your age.
Well, besides, I mean, that's a grown man, 6'3", 302 pounds, and obviously he's very strong and athletic as he's able to come up with the sack.
2nd down and 17 across the middle. Just a short route out of the hands of Snow into the hands of number 9, Corey Hewitt. He's going to take it down. And once again, difficult interception. That one not on the hands of Gunnar.
Gunnar Neistat with the touchdown-saving tackle, but a bad break there as you see the blitz was coming off the right side. He delivered the ball, and unfortunately the wide receiver not able to secure it. Went right off of his hands, that being Jaden Scott, right into the waiting hands of Corey Hewitt.
Jaden Scott, a 6-foot freshman, 10 catches on the year for 140 yards, had that one placed in his hand. But the thing that and a push in the back on that return, the thing that I like about this James Island team, again, you've got a freshman, 6'6", 320-pound offensive lineman. You got a junior three juniors on the line. You got a sophomore quarterback. You got a sophomore and a freshman wide receiver. And these are skill players that in time, these mistakes won't happen.
Yeah, and it just comes with playing games. I mean, that's the only way you're going to ever learn is by going through the fire. So you're right, Dean. In a year or two, if these guys stick with it, they stick together, this James Island team can be very dangerous in the future.
Let's take a look at Rodney Hancock's going to bust one out for about 14 yards on 1st and 10 from the 41-yard line. Let's go downstairs to the sidelines wherever David Ayler Law Office's Educator Spotlight with Josh Rogers.
I can't hear, dude. All right, joined by James Island Principal Tim Thorne, and before we know it, we're deep into the school year. One more Friday night rival game after this. How are things on James Island this year?
Things are going well this year. The kids have been great. We had a homecoming week full of all kinds of festivities. We had a senior picnic today. The kids really enjoyed. So it's been a lot of fun. The school spirit's been super high, and it's just been a very smooth school year.
Awesome. Well, let's make it a little smoother here.
Oh, all right.
$500 grant for hosting us here on Friday Night Rivals. Of course, we always enjoy being hosted. And there you go. Give a nice smile. $500 given to each school this year that hosts Friday Night Rivals. Back to you in the booth.
All right, Josh, thanks so much. Always great to be here at the backyard and all of our schools that we have visited this year. Just had an awesome time. Jonathan Bennett, again, showing his athleticism, moving out of the pocket and finding Andre Banks down for a first down. 1:49 left. 4 turnovers in the first half by James Island, setting up 2 scores for Summerville. Let's see if they cash in and make it a third. Hancock up the middle. Nice defensive play on the outside of the left side of that defensive line. That's number 35, Demir Morrison. 55 tackles on the year. Give him a couple more.
And somehow, some way, James Island has to keep Summerville out of the end zone here as we have a timeout called on the field.
Summerville taking their first of 3 timeouts, again with 1:43 on the clock. Up 16 right now. Missed a field goal on their last possession.
And they'll get the ball to start the second half as James Island started it with the, in the first quarter, getting the opening kickoff. So you think about it, a great opportunity here for the Green Wave if they can somehow punch it in here before the half and then, of course, get it to start the second half.
Cash in twice. The thing that I was talking to somebody before the game and sharing a little bit about what we saw with Goose Creek a couple of weeks ago. Goose Creek program down as well the last few years, but what I saw out of the Gators the night that we covered them is that was a team that didn't stop fighting, and that's something Ike Allred said to us earlier this week. He was like, you don't quit, you don't lose. You may come up short on the scoreboard, but you don't quit on me, you'll never lose.
And his life lessons. I mean, you can learn a lot on the football field and the situation where you just have to play through the adversity. And there's going to be times where things go your way. There's going to be times when it doesn't. But you have to respond positively. And as you just mentioned, Dean, just keep fighting all the way to the end.
Bennett missing Anthony Gregg on a wide open pass on the left sidelines. And those are the throws right there that turn a head coach gray. Now, when your head coach is the former quarterback and the offensive coordinator, that's the kind of play that makes your coach go bald.
Exactly. Like, just take your time. There's no pressure coming. Just relax, square your shoulders, get your feet set, and deliver the pass.
3rd and 12 from the, looks to be about the 17-yard line. Flag on the near side. I don't know if we had somebody jump. Anthony Gregg, wide receiver, set up right near that official that threw the flag. They're going to call encroachment on James Island. Somebody lined up off sides. So it's going to give them +5, make it a 3rd and 8 from 14.
Always wondered about that on all levels because the football doesn't necessarily move.
No. Bennett back right, going to throw back left to Hancock. And again, Major Chestnut, All 6'5", 210 of them, really altering the outcome of that play.
And Darrell Hancock just couldn't quite grasp the football. I think he was a little distracted by the defense of James Allen.
They're going to go ahead and bring out, looks to be the kicking team as well. Looks like Cotton is back on. Ray Cotton missed a 43-yarder earlier. This one's going to be set up on the right hash mark at the 20, so a 30-yard field goal attempt with a $1:35 on the clock.
A little closer this time, so distance should not be an issue.
And that one right down the middle, signaled by the 2 referees under the crossbar. That makes it a 25-6 Summerville lead. So 17 points, 17 out of the 25 coming off of James Allen turnovers.
And somewhat of a win for James Allen, Dean, because they did not give up a touchdown. Did give up 3. But right now, Dean, if you're Ike Allred, a minute 30, and it may depend on the return in terms of how far, how deep the return is for James Allen. But you have to be careful here. Obviously, 4 turnovers. If you can't, you don't want to have a 5th and give Summerville another freebie right before the half.
No, I think you make a nice return here and maybe test the waters on 1st and 2nd down, and then take it from there and see how it, see where you're looking. If you pick up a positive yardage play, then go ahead and take a shot.
You definitely would want to throw it down the field. And we saw a nice return in the last kickoff return by James Allen. Of course, it was negated by the penalty flag, but let's see if they can, again, come up with a big return. Just try to get something going here over the last 130.
Ike was talking the other day about just the numbers, and this school is one of the smaller 5A schools with just 1,500 kids in it. You look at a school like Wanda with 4,300, Summerville, one of the biggest schools in the state as well. But he said, one of the biggest problems here as they look to pooch it a little bit, is going to go out of bounds at the 32-yard line.
Wow.
So that'll set him up at the 35, and that kind of plays, makes Ike got to think a little bit about what we're going to do here. But he was just talking about how Charleston County really, he'd like to see this football be brought into the middle schools and all of a sudden have a little bit more feeder system and not so much rec football. He said that's, he thinks, is where the problem is, and a lot of these kids not coming out.
Well, you think about it, for a while there, the most successful program in the state of South Carolina was Burns. And they said one of the things that really contributed to that was that kids starting in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade were running the same system, the same plays as the high school. So by the time they got to the high school, the terminology was still the same. So it made it very easy for them. So that might not be a bad idea by Coach Allred.
Gunner handing it off to Alston. Alston battling. 5-6 more white jerseys than you could count. One of the most impressive 2-yard losses you'll see on the night.
Well, let's just say everybody gets credited for a tackle except Chandler Newton. The big guy was the only white jersey not in the pile.
Couldn't find him?
I think he was the last line of defense. So he kind of flip-flopped, and he was going to be the safety.
Interesting move here as James Allen calls a timeout. But you talk about, the youth on this team. And Ike said he's not where he thought they would be with the wins. Not having any, wins in the region yet. But he said, our guys prepare every day, as if they're not 1-6. They practice like they're a 7-0 team. And that, he said, is he's so very proud of. Had some close losses. He said the St. John's loss surprised him. But, after watching St. John's play, he said this is a team that is going to surprise a lot of people. Look at the defensive backfield, 4 sophomores. What he chose to do was to take the best athletes on this team, wide receivers, running backs, and turn them into defensive backs. He wanted speed in the backfield, and he's got them. But he said, hey, they're young, and we'll get beat over the top more than we'll break up some passes. But they really haven't been beaten over the top tonight.
Well, my mindset has always been, if you're going to somewhat struggle, Dean, I'd rather struggle with young guys than struggle with seniors.
Right.
Because at least the young guys, you have a chance to build off of them and have them come back, the next year or two. So a very smart plan by Coach Allred as he's trying to build this program one step at a time.
Neistat back. He's got 5 receivers. He's got a rush in his face. He's going to throw it up top. It's a little short. There is number 4, Derek Larry, who has been all around the ball tonight. He cannot come up with the interception. And you know what? That doesn't bother me at all. Take a shot down the field. Maybe you'll get an interference. Maybe something good will happen.
Yeah, as you see right here, Neistat under a lot of pressure. And, man, he took one right in the chin by Mr. Newton. 6'3", 302 pounds, while Neistat, he stands 5'10", 175.
Tell you what, though, watching him hit that guy a little bit earlier, this is
tough.
A kid who's going to stick his nose in the middle of it all. And that's what you want in a quarterback and just a sophomore.
But this is dangerous. 3rd down and 11. And Summerville still has some timeouts as they jump off sides again.
I think that's the 3rd hard count that they've fallen for tonight, which is kind of funny because Neistat is still kind of working with his headgear. I'm not even sure he had his hands in the right spot to receive a snap.
But you have to be careful if you're James Allen because you don't want to stop the clock. Summerville, I believe, still has 2 timeouts left. The special teams play of James Allen tonight has not been at its best, so you have to be careful here. Or at least make them use a timeout here with a run. And
yep, a minute 9 going to go across the field. And again, off the mark again on the spot is Derek Larry. Derek Larry might just want to maybe sign his name on this field somewhere because they may name it the Derek Larry Field after the night that he's had over here. But again, as you said, just 3 seconds taken off the clock. Summerville's going to get the ball back with a minute 6 left. And the thing that bothers me the most about that is you got a quarterback and you got wide receiver sets that can rush down the field for 40 yards and throw it up for a jump ball. A nice rush. Curry's going to fair catch it at the 28-yard line. So that's where they will set up shop with just a tick more than a minute left here in the second quarter, holding on to a 25-6 lead.
when you have 2 6'5" wide receivers, as you mentioned, Dean, whether you can just, we call it the Randy Moss effect. Just run down the field, throw up your hand. Don't overthrow them. If anything, you want to throw it short so that they can stop and just go up and catch the ball at its highest point. So let's see what Jonathan Bennett and the Green Wave offense can do here over the next 61 seconds.
So they'll start at the 28-yard line, 1st and 10, 4 receivers. He's going to go to Shaq Davis early. He's going to drop the ball at the 38. Would have been close to a first down. Probably would not have had the clock stop.
You definitely want to throw the ball past the sticks. Shaq's had a couple of drops tonight. Usually fairly solid with his hands, but tonight seems to be a little, probably because the weather's so cool right now. This is football weather.
He's got like frostbite on his fingertips.
He's
That's the issue.
I mean, we're having to constantly watch our papers from flying around all over in the press box.
Bennett's going to roll to his left, throw it, and again out of the hands of number 10. That's Anthony Gregg.
So they're taking turns with drops here, and it's 53.7 seconds left, so the same
and
situation.
James Allen can get the ball back.
Exactly. You know, you figure they've already had one bad snap on the punt. So you got to come up with something here.
Let's see if Joe Calls will settle in and just run the ball and probably get out of here with just a punt, and that'll be about it.
Jonathan Bennett, you know, he's still trying to throw on the run. He's got to settle down, take his time.
He's going to go ahead and run a little quarterback keeper up the middle. Going to pick up just 2 yards. See if Ike Allred's going to call a timeout. Good for him. 4th and 8. He's going to get the ball back with about 46 seconds left. You never know what could happen. Already seen a bad snap on the punt for Summerville.
You could get a punt block. You could get a punt return for it. Anything can happen in these situations. But you know, Dean, when I get that offensive coordinator job, in these situations,
you're in line.
Yeah, you know, you have to throw screens. You know, you just let that pass rush come up and just dump it off, at least on the first down play.
Yeah.
So you got playmakers. You got to get them in space. They've proven tonight that they're a little frostbitten in terms of catching. Is
the gentleman right there drinking the Gatorade with the blue hat and the blue shirt there?
Oh, that guy with the blue shirt.
Preston Vinson. Remember Preston Vinson played at Goose Creek, played for the South Carolina Gamecocks. His son, backup quarterback, DeQuan Vinson.
Okay.
Good dude. Really good guy.
That name does ring a bell.
See, those are your intern days when you weren't paying attention.
Yes. Well, I was supposed
See what
to
the
be
rush
listening.
looks like, James on. They're not going to. And another bad snap. McCurry's got it. He's going to roll. He's going to look to pass the ball, and he's going to kick it on the run.
Wow. What a play by McCurry, because he could have easily been tackled at the 5-yard line. How he wasn't, I'm still not quite sure.
You know how we talk about, and Darren Goldwater's not here, but he's the one that harps on it the most, right?
Right.
When our Thursday night and Friday night highlights from across the country are shown through all of our Friday night and Thursday night rival games across the country, we're like, how come we're never on?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That play right there.
Should have been.
That deserved it, doesn't it?
I mean, that was
the quarterback hit on the DB. That deserved to be on it.
The mental toughness, because most guys would have tried to either run the football or throw the football. He was able to keep his composure and get the kickoff.
I've been watching McCurry kids play sports in this area for about 10 years, right? And this is what I said the last time we covered this team. If I'm playing street football, my first draft pick, I'm taking a McCurry. Flag down about 30 yards behind the play. Going to be a delay of game. There's a couple of McCurry brothers, and he plays like he's been playing street football for the last 15 years of his life.
The old throw-up tackle game. Just
on the concrete, too. That's what we talked about.
You got to be tough.
If you don't want to play tackle football on the concrete, don't go to the McCurry house. It's going to be 1st and 15 after the delay of game. Let's see what happens. They look right. Receiver's going to sit down, fumble the ball a little bit. Let's see if Ike Allred's going to try to speed things up right here with 20 seconds left on the clock.
Nothing good can come out of this. Just take the knee and
I'm
just
going
go into the locker room.
I'm going to tell you what good's going to come out of it in a second. He's going to look down the field. He's going to be flushed out of the pocket. He's going to roll right. He's got some room to move. He throws the interception. And once again, it was Derek Larry. Larry's got big troubles back by the 38-yard line. 1.3 second on the clock.
And I think
Neistat with another interception here. He's getting pressure on the backside by Bracey. He's got number 40 in front of him. That's Cole Phillips. And Derek Larry just racking up the interceptions here tonight. This is what I think comes out of it that's good. It just, Ike Allred shows his offense. I got faith in you. Let's go to try to make something good happen. And I like that attitude.
Which I agree.
Especially with a young team.
But when you've somewhat struggled in the first half and you're on your own 35-yard line, the chances of throwing a Hail Mary or, missing it's just not a high percentage. So I get what you're saying. Now,
I think it's more attitude than anything else. Bennett kneels it down at the 35-yard line. We're going to go to the halftime with a 25-6 Summerville lead. And there's 5 turnovers in the first half. And interestingly enough, when you take a look at this team, up to this point, Gunnar Neistat, 7 touchdowns, 4 interceptions on the year. The entire year. Also saw how Ike Allred also kind of interchanged his quarterback, his 2 quarterbacks, Vincent's and Neistat. Neistat started the opening drive, and then Vincent came in, did some good things, but I do like the way, he's kind of interchanging these 2 young quarterbacks.
Yeah, and they both had an opportunity to excel in the first half. Both, again, had times where it looked like they were on it, but we'll have to regroup for the second half.
Let's go downstairs with Josh Rogers standing by with Summerville head coach Joe Call.
All right, yeah, thanks, Dean. Joe, the offense maybe seemed to lack a little bit of that killer instinct you look for in the first half. How important was your defense and special teams to set the tone?
Yeah, defense was on the field the entire first quarter, and offense, we only had a few plays and scored. We sat on the sideline. You like your defense to block punts and to, get big interception return, but the offense is all about rhythm, and they're a little, being on the sideline so long, I think it kind of got us out of our rhythm.
Looked like there were a few missed connections with Shaq Davis there in the first half. How do you get him going?
Yeah, just throwing a flat ball. We got to put a little bit more air into the ball when you're 6'5", let him go up there and get it. And, we got to, if we want to be a better team, we got to take advantage when people give us the opportunity. But, real disappointed with our special teams as well. It's been an embarrassing first half for us special team-wise. It's a lot of mistakes.
All right, Coach, well, I'll let you get back to your team.
Thank you.
All right, guys, back to you in the booth.
All right, 25-6 is your score here from the backyard. Not a pretty half of football by any stretch of the imagination. Summerville will get control of the ball. Our halftime show coming up. The block punt led to 7 of the 25 points. 5 turnovers in the first half by James Island. We're back after this. Get out. Just get out a little bit. Oh. Welcome to the Zaxby's Halftime Show. Let Zaxby's cater your next tailgate with your favorites like the chicken fingers platter or the salad bar. Visit Zaxby's.com for a full menu and to find a location near you. 25-6, Summerville with the lead. James Island here at the backyard. You heard Joe Call say it. He was not terribly pleased with part of the performance of his football team tonight. Defense was on the field for a little bit. Offense played well, had some drops by the wide receivers, but they have certainly taken advantage of the turnovers that James Island have handed over to them. And that was 5, by the way. It's homecoming here at James Island. Well, each week, Zaxby's gives you a chance to win some free food. Just text chicken to 44332 for your chance to win $100 worth of delicious Zaxby's. Each week, David Ayler Law Offices is proud to highlight a scholar athlete from each participating school. The students selected will have an opportunity to win a $5,000 scholarship at the end of the season. Tonight's scholar athletes, Heather DeLorenzo, James Island High School, cross country and track. Pet Helpers Volunteer does quite a bit. As for Summerville, Paris Rizzo with a 5.196 GPA. She is a varsity cheerleader for Summerville. She's on student council, honor society, does a little bit of everything. Congratulations to both of them.
All right, thanks so much, guys. I'm here right now with David Ayler. David, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So tell me a little bit about this scholarship you're offering to students and kind of how it came about.
You know, it's something that ABC has done for several years, and I was fortunate enough to be able to be a part of it this year. And I've seen it in the past and really was a little jealous that I wasn't a part of it. And really because what you're doing is you're investing in the youth. You've got so many great students, great candidates, and you see what they've done. You know, they've performed, they've worked hard, just like these football players, and they're finally getting to see some fruits from those achievements.
And what do you think that means to receive something like that because they have all those attributes that you're saying?
Well, obviously it's a lot of pride that their parents and their family's going to have, but for themselves, I really think it sort of instills confidence, saying, hey, look, this is what happens when I work hard. You know, these things can come from it. It's the same thing we see in sports. When you work hard, you get that starting position. You know, you may get that hero role, and that's really what you see with what these students are doing in the classroom.
All right, David, well, thank you so much for being here, and
Thanks
keep it here on Friday Night Rivals. We'll send it on back to you guys.
All right, Erica, thank you. Alongside David, you're watching Friday Night Rivals, driven by Low Country Chevy Dealers. 25-6. We're back to the backyard after this. Welcome back to James Island, a 25-6 game. It is homecoming here in the backyard. 6 queens competing for that lovely crown and the sash. We'll have the winners coming up. Welcome to Zaxby's Halftime Show. Let Zaxby's cater your next tailgate with your favorites like the chicken fingers platter, the salad bar. Visit Zaxby's.com for full menu and to find a location near you. Also, tonight's trophy is provided by All-American Awards in Mount Pleasant. They have been in business for more than 20 years and are your source for corporate and sports awards. Remember, All-American Awards, when you recognize excellence.
The Willie Gray Opportunity School is a 14-week GED military-style program. We are a state-funded agency offered to students at no cost. We give students the structure they need, the education they need, and the skills they need to become successful adults. Being involved in the Friday Night Rivals gives us an opportunity to have outreach in the Low Country and also help support the high school athletes in the Charleston area.
All right, it's that time of the night. Thursday Night Lights and Friday Night Rivals. Great moments from around the country. Let's go to Birmingham, dog.
How about this? A nice punt, return, a little block there. Splits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just simply outruns the rest of his teammates. Punters not really putting a lot of effort in. Take it to the house. 6 on the board.
And from Pittsburgh, PA. Looks
go.
like you're playing in the backyard. I like the little chain fence there. I like the Browns uniform there.
There you go. Just throw it up. This young man had a big night. That's 2 catches.
Back to Nashville.
All right.
Pretty good football talent in Nashville.
Spin. Hit the triangle on the
Is that what it was? Was that the triangle?
Exactly. The spin move down the sideline. You can take it to the house. 6 in Nashville.
Plant that foot. Let's go to Omaha, Nebraska.
Oh, those guys are just big, strong, bullying, just pushing his way forward, just running through tackles, lowering his head. He's taking the whole team with him on a ride. He must be a bus driver because he's taking people to school. Look at the bus
Chattanooga.
Right here. I mean, just spin, move, orange.
Oh, that was a reverse spin move. And the pants are down. The pants are down.
But you don't need pants to run. You just need the football. I feel a stiff arm here. Big guy, big fullback.
Hold it like a loaf of bread, by the way.
Exactly. Touchdown in Chattanooga.
Those are your Thursday Night Lights and Friday Night Rivals. Great moments from across the country. Take a listen.
Ready to find out who the homecoming queen is. So we have a winner.
Down at the 35-yard line. I think they said India Gaskins.
We'll go with it. So she will be recognized as Miss James Island.
There you go. Awesome night.
Seems like when we show up, it's always homecoming.
I know. That's because this is the night to have your homecoming.
Exactly.
It's your Friday Night Rivals. Your ABC News 4 team is in town. My TV just crushing the competition. Just like Miss Gaskins just did. So congratulations to her. It is a 25-6 Summerville lead on a kind of an ugly first half of football. 5 turnovers, some special team blunders by Summerville.
And you really have to ask yourself, Dean, where would Summerville be without the turnovers from James Island? Because outside of that, the offense really has not done that much to have such a commanding lead. So right now the defense is really doing it all for Joe Call and the Green Wave.
The Queen and her court. We're back to the backyard. After this break, you're watching Friday Night Rivals, driven by your Low Country Chevy dealers. Welcome back to the Zaxby's halftime show. Let Zaxby's cater your next tailgate with your favorites like the chicken fingers platter or the salad bar. Visit Zaxby's.com for a full menu and to find a location near you. Hey fans, we're giving you an opportunity to vote for tonight's Spirit Award. To vote for Summerville, text Cheer A to 44332. Text Cheer B to 44332. For James Island, take a listen, take a look. So there you go. Cast a vote for the Spirit Award. Results will come up later in our broadcast tonight. We were talking about a big football game earlier. Fort Dorchester, undefeated. Ashley Ridge with just one win. Certainly could lodge a huge upset, giving Summerville the advantage in the region play. Not going to happen. I believe it's 49-0. Is that at the half? Case in point?
I think it is. I believe we had heard that. I heard David Shelton comment earlier today that there was a chance that the Carry-On Joiner might have to play into the second half. I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think so either.
49-0. I think it's safe to say Fort Dorchester is in control.
Go back to that awesome Chevy Silverado picture.
Did you drive that here?
Yeah, I've got a good idea. I think we should put Darren Goldwater's face right above the tire.
Right.
Maybe put your face right on the side window of the driver's side.
All right, I got you.
You like that?
That sounds good.
I'm going to tell you something. I enjoy driving that truck a lot. Have you ever driven a truck, Edo?
A couple, but if you give them, here's how it works. You give them like a check. Hopefully it will be a good one. And then they'll just they'll give you the keys to that. Then you could drive that all the time.
Oh, the check's good.
It's a really simple process. I mean, you can go to Marchand Chevrolet, and he told you he can have you in and out in an hour.
Hey, Robert Cruz would be more than happy to accept my check. But yeah, it's fun driving out around town. So you see me, just give me a honk and wave. The full wave, not the
one finger salute.
Not the one finger salute.
But you remember when Channel 4 used to do the 4-up?
We did the 4-up.
What happened to that?
I don't know, but it caught on.
It was pretty
it was
cool.
a big thing. I was going through some old video today. I did sports at the station from 90 to 2002. And I was going back. We were putting a Stingray special together.
Okay.
Right? 25 years Stingrays have been in town.
Wow.
Some people said they would never last. The Stingrays have lasted longer than the people who said they'd never last.
Exactly.
So, anyway, just going through some old video, looking at like the old Kelly Cup. In 1996 and 97, they won the Kelly Cup on the road in Louisiana. Those tapes are so antiquated, we can't even find a machine to play them. But I did find a disc that I had dubbed down back in 2000, and all over that disc was State with Sports 4.
There you go.
And I really miss that.
Those are the days. And, of course, coming up tonight, it'll be Scotty and Stolze.
Yep.
11:15 with all the highlights from tonight.
And a lot of good games tonight. You've got St. John's and Baptist Hill playing tonight. That's one of the featured games. Good for both of those programs, too. For a long time, those programs struggled. They never got too much attention. But they are playing some really, really good football. So, they will get going about 11:05, 11:08. And then you can also join us on the web at abcnews4.com. We've got a ton of pictures, all of the scores from not only around the low country, but around the state. Our digital team doing a wonderful job. Zeros on the clock. James Island getting ready, stretching it out, as are the Green Wave. Let's go downstairs right now with a third member of our team, Josh Rogers.
All right, thanks, Steve. I can talk a little bit about spent
spent a lot of time on the field. You only put up 6 points. What do you have to do to make that time of possession translate into more points on the board?
That's exactly what we talked at halftime. We should have probably 2 more scores out there. We've had the defense has given us the ball back. The special teams, they've gotten the ball off twice where we felt like we at least could have had a chance to block the punt or at least tackle the guy where he was, get better field position. But we've got to capitalize on their mistakes, and that's what they've done on their side of the ball. They've been able to capitalize on our mistakes, and that's why you see it 25-6 right now.
There's no doubt about it. Summerville's a solid team. What do you hope your team learns from this game, no matter the result, no matter what happens?
But same thing we've been saying all year in the years that I've been here. You got to keep fighting the whole time, compete. Nobody's going to give you anything. You're playing above your head to begin with, so leave it all on the field. Don't hold anything back. And as a young kid, if they learn this now, then they'll be very successful down the road. That's what we're shooting for.
All right, well, good luck in the second half, Coach.
Sure.
All right, guys, back up to you in the booth.
All right, Josh, thanks. Once you quit playing, that's when you lose. That's what Ike Allred was just talking about. We're going to head to break. 25-6, Summerville up on James Island. We're back to the backyard after this. Welcome back to Friday Night Rivals, driven by Low Country Chevy Dealers. Turnover-filled first half by James Island, 5 of them, leading to 17 Summerville points. It's a 25-6 lead now as we've got 12 minutes on the clock as both teams kind of loosening up after an extended halftime homecoming here on the island.
Yeah, it's safe to say this opening drive very crucial for both teams. I believe Summerville, if they can somehow find a way to put points on the board, that may just be too much for this James Island offense to overcome. But if James Island can force a turnover, get a 3 and out, or just get something, to get the ball back into the hands of that offense, and it'll be interesting to see who Coach Allred goes with at quarterback.
A positive play. That's when they need a positive play. And did you like the way he used both quarterbacks?
Right, he did.
Did you like that?
He did, because, he kind of went with the hot hand, and then once the hot hand kind of hit the wall, then he'd give the other guy a shot. So somehow, some way, he's got to get some type of production, preferably from one guy. But if he can't, then if it takes 2 guys to do it, then it just takes 2 guys to do it. But most importantly, they got to start off with a good defensive presence here, and that's not how you want to start off with a kickoff that goes out of bounds.
That is really what they've tried to do on their last few kickoffs. I didn't know if they wanted to try to find a soft spot in that return team and just kind of drop it in there. But for the second time, the ball rolls out at the 15-yard line. It'll be spotted at the 35, and that's where Summerville will start the third quarter.
Tell you what, you're talking about a drop, Dean. This is like perfect weather. I mean, it's windy. It's kind of cold. I mean, this is what football season's supposed to feel like, not 95 degrees.
A mini cold front, by the way, blew into town this morning. And now we're picking up a little bit of a cool breeze. Much cooler weather moving in on Tuesday, Mr. Edall.
Did Dave Williams tell you that? Did Sonya who told you that?
I just listen.
Okay.
I'm a good listener. Jonathan Bennett, also a good listener. He's going to pull back, throw it to the outside to Pedro Rios. This guy's got some speed.
Whoa.
But hello, meet Jermonte Brisbane.
Yes, sir. Mr. Brisbane with another solid hit from that cornerback position. Saw a couple in the first half as well. And you're right, Mr. Rios has definitely earned his playing time tonight. Catching the football out of the backfield, running it hard between the tackles.
You know what happens when a fast car hits a brick wall? It stops. Just stops.
And it's stopped.
So 2 yards on the pickup on the pitch and catch to Rios. Rios going to take it to the right side now. He's going to sprint out.
Oh, boy.
Number 37 committed a little bit too early on that play, or maybe it was Jaleel Simmons, number 27. But you can see right as it happened, Rios cut to the outside, picked up a first down.
And that's the one thing that a lot of these high school kids, if they just a little more patient, if he bounces this outside after he turns the corner, Dean, he could still be running here, but he elects to turn inside. But, you know, right there, if he could have just gotten around that guy, it could have been a bigger gain, I should say, for Summerville, but still a first down for the Green Wave.
Yeah, Rios has been a surprise here late in the second quarter, and here throwing the ball to him, showing a lot of speed. Bennett handed off to Hancock. He's got Rios as a blocker in front. See if he can pick anybody up. Also, Banks out front, clearing a little bit of room. That's going to be a gain of about 7 yards for Hancock.
And a very patient run that time by Hancock. Nice tackle made by John David Key, the 6'1" sophomore linebacker. That time Hancock allowed his blocker to kind of do his job, and then he was able to explode by him. So good job of not forcing the issue and getting ahead of his blockers.
Quick running back, 5'8", 160, getting interest from some in-state Southern Conference schools, Wofford, the Citadel, to name a few.
You think about D'Angelo Henderson, who played here at Summerville. Now
Bennett going up top. He's got Banks.
There you go. That's what you want to do, Dean Stevens. You don't want to overthrow the wide receiver. You want to purposely throw it high and short and let your athletic wide receivers come back and get the ball. And that time, Jonathan, with perfect touch on these, he threw it up in the air, almost like throwing a fly ball, and able to connect with his tight end, Andre Banks.
Terrell Jones had good coverage until he lost him. And then Banks able to make the catch at the 21-yard line. It was something that Joe Call had said to our Josh Rogers, that they needed to take advantage a little bit more of their wide receivers.
You have the advantage, you have to use it. And that's just a touch thing that Jonathan Bennett will hopefully get better at the rest of this season and next year.
Counterplay stopped on a few yard pickup, about 3 yards by John David Key, the sophomore linebacker. And I say sophomore because there's a sophomore defensive back, 3 of them in the backfield, 4 sophomores on this defensive unit for James Island.
Youth. But you know the best thing about sophomores, Dean?
They're juniors.
Exactly. They'll be juniors next year.
Rios going to jet sweep it out to the right side. He's got Hancock in the inside. Nice block. Rios cuts it at the 10, taken down at the 5-yard line. I believe that was Cooper Murillo possibly on the tackle.
Just so patient here. Again, nothing fancy, just a jet sweep. Takes his time, and then he hits right up into the hole and gets inside. Right at, I guess, the 5-yard line.
Yeah, it's Logan Amons, Logan Amons, number 31 on the play. Called his name a few times tonight.
You have speed like Rios. You just simply want to get him around the edge.
First and goal at the 5. Keys forces the issue in the backfield, kind of blitzed off at the corner. Again, maybe a pickup of 1 yard. Second and goal from the 4.
Summerville doing a nice job of also working the clock. Taking some time off the clock on this opening drive. And we talked about for James Allen, got to keep him out of the end zone. Really cannot allow Summerville to really score at all. Being right now a 3-possession game.
You got 5'9" versus 6'5" on the outside. Let's see if they play a little jump ball to the outside. Nope, they're going to hand it off to Rios. He's going to cut to the outside. He's got Hancock out there. But great pursuit on the outside by Keys and also number 7, Jermonte Brisbane, to bring him down at the 5-yard line, setting up 3rd and goal.
Yeah, that's not where. Rios is best on the edge, not necessarily running between the tackles. So tried to bounce it outside, but great pursuit by the defense.
Again, you've said it before. They're going to switch. Amon's now on Shaq on the outside, get a little bit of height. They're going to go the opposite way. Bennett's over the top, short arms it to McCurry. It's going to set up a 4th and goal from the 4-yard line.
And that's just a tough throw. He's rolling left, going across his body, didn't have his feet set, trying to throw on the run. There's some guys that play on Sunday, Dean, that can't complete that pass, much less, on a Friday night. But good effort. Just came up a little bit short.
Summerville's going to go for it on 4th and 4. So big chance here for the Trojans defense to make a stand. One running back in the backfield. That is Hancock.
I throw it right there to the right corner to Shaq.
Nope, they're going to
trickery.
Yep, Ola McCurry's got it. He's going to throw it to the corner of the end zone. A trick play back to Bennett for the touchdown. It's the Berkeley Electric Cooperatives touchdown, energy touchdown. So a little pitch back to the wide receiver McCurry. He finds the quarterback Bennett for the touchdown and the score.
Yeah, I guess if you can't throw it in, you can just catch it in, and a nice play. Hancock handed off to McCurry. You talked about just how tough those kids are, and a nice job by the quarterback, Jonathan Bennett, keeping his feet in bounds.
By the way, when you throw the touchdown pass, you also get to handle the place kicking, and because you're the holder for the kicker.
Good hands.
Quackenbush makes it a 32-6 game now. So Summerville scores right out of the locker room, putting more distance between them and James Island, 32-6. You're watching Friday Night Rivals, driven by Low Country Chevy Dealers. We're on James Island tonight, where Summerville's planting the flag. We're back right after this. Welcome back to James Island. 32-6, Summerville over James Island. When you take a look at James Island this year and really what has happened to them when it comes to wins and losses, said it was close to Wando, end up losing 35-7. And you can kind of see why, because once that snowball starts rolling down, all of a sudden it's an avalanche. It's now time for your chance to win big. It's a cash card to Subway restaurants worth $500. It's simple. Just text Subway to 44332, and you will be entered to win the Subway for a year contest. Not a day, not a week, not a month, but a year. One winner will be notified on October 30th. Thank you to our friends at Subway. Touchback on the kickoff. So James Island going to set up shop at the 20-yard line, but that's what Ike Allred was telling me on the phone. He's like, we're so close, and all of a sudden one thing leads to another and another and another, and all of a sudden it's 32-6.
And when you're an older team, you kind of know how to stop the bleeding. But when you're young, and you think about it, in most schools, sophomores normally play JV.
Yep.
And they're playing varsity here, playing against great competition, a team like Summerville. So it's a situation where, yeah, you have to learn how to just deal with it and just not hang your head. You just got to play through it. And then, you start talking about lack of depth. You just eventually start to wear down. And I think that's what we've seen so far.
Been impressed with Vincent tonight. Runs the ball well. Had a couple of good throws. He's going to run it right up the middle again. Taking on 4 or 5. Green Wave going to pick up maybe a yard at the best.
And you almost wonder sometimes if you have to slow things down, Dean, when you have a young football team. Because if you try to go too fast, they end up getting maybe more confused than they probably would be if they would just take their time. But, Ike Allred knows his team better than, obviously, you and I. And if he wants to play fast, that's what he's going to have to do.
Nice snap directly to the wide receiver. And, again, there's the flag on the late hit as number 14 came in. And it was a direct snap to Dionel Cromwell, the 5'9", 185-pound wide receiver. Not a direct snap, by the way. My bad.
But if you can pick up those easy yards, as we've seen tonight, Summerville jump off sides a couple of times with a hard count. This time a little late hit, little extra activity. So they're going to get a lot of yards here on this, Dean, as this penalty will push it all the way down into Summerville territory.
All right. Riding double leads to trouble, kids, but not when you go to Zaxby's. It's the fans' cam. There you go.
Trojans.
I'd like
football.
take a walk like that, right? All the way to Zaxby's.
You can earn yourself Zaxby's if you can carry a friend with you.
Absolutely right. 1st and 10 from the 42. Chance here for James Island to keep control of the ball and move the chains. Vincent out for about 3 yards on the play to the right. But I agree with you. This is not the time to speed things up. And that's what he talked about. Ike talked about as well. He said it's been, a little bit when you looked at kind of the psychology that, we play speed up, then we slow down. Then we speed up and we play slow down. Then we speed up and slow down. All in the same game. He's like, that is not the way to operate. But right now with this team, it's the only way to operate. Alston to the right side, cuts back, picks up some good yardage all the way down to the 24-yard line. You see the explosiveness there, and I like the way this kid runs, Jermaine Alston.
And another opportunity, we've seen both teams with the running backs, whether it be Hancock or Rios, or in that particular situation, the running back,
Alston,
obviously from James Allen, Mr. Jermaine Alston, getting around on the corner. And when they get into space, good things seem to happen, as we just see right here on the spin move and a nice strong run by Alston.
Going to pick up 9 yards on the play. Really planted that foot and then took a couple of spins. And I like how he turns the shoulders once he turns that corner and picks up some real good yards.
Looking to get in the end zone. And still plenty of football left to be played, Dean, but you're down by 26. But these are the types of situations where these are obviously coaching situations. So right now, maybe it may not play off tonight, but there'll be maybe games later on this year or even next year where you're going to be in the situation that you're going to need a sustained drive in the second half. And that's exactly what James Allen is doing right here.
Vincent putting his shoulders down, picking up an extra 5 or 6 yards. And this is certainly an opportunity for Vincent to get a chance to run this offense.
And you've worked so hard to get down here. Now you have to reward yourself with some points.
And they fumble the ball. Second time that we have seen, and it looks like James Island may have come up with it after Summerville had recovered it. I thought it was a late. They're going to give it to James Island.
Oh, wow.
Pay up.
Well, 31 came out of the
Summerville was clearly not in possession, but they said surrounded it, and then somebody had jumped in for James Allen. Take a look,
because it was just laying there for a while. Their ball's just laying there. There's 1, 2, 3. So maybe right there on top.
Yeah,
that being
looked like maybe number 53, Therese Drayton.
That saves the day, saves this drive, because it would be very disappointing for the Trojans should they not be able to capitalize and get some points on what's been a very successful drive.
Second time Vincent and Alston struggled with the connection there. first fumble by them did result in a Summerville recovery as Vincent picks up a couple of yards, going to make it about a 4th and 3 right now. But again, that's just experience, right? That's experience.
And it's
Either
just ball
give it to
security.
him or pitch it to him.
That's something you work on in practice. You got to hold it high and tight and not wave it like a loaf of bread. And that's exactly what Vincent did that time. Off very close to having the ball knocked out of his hands again.
4th and 4. Tried to hard count Summerville. They jumped off 3 times in the first half. Not going to go here. He's going to throw the ball, going to lob it up in the end zone. And a great play by number 9, Corey Hewitt.
Yeah, Hewitt.
And a flag down on the play in the corner of the end zone.
Is it going to be pass interference?
You know what? It may be taunting.
Oh.
And then a second flag comes in for, I don't know if mouthing off is a penalty or not, or if it's
let's just
in
say
the dictionary for the referees.
Really safe to say, I'm sure he didn't invite the official over for Thanksgiving dinner.
There you see the nice lob pass.
Looked like perfect timing. So I could see why he would may be a little upset.
Hamilton went in. I'm wondering if he had taunted him after the pass breakup. But and then as the players were going by the referee, the flag then comes out, which you have to assume.
Unsportsmanlike against Summerville. Unsportsmanlike against Summerville, so that's 2. So that'll be half the distance and half the distance.
So is that a hole? You have 2 half the distance.
Exactly.
Is that a hole?
So it'd be half of, where was the ball? The ball
was
on
at the 9.
So that's the 5.
4.5.
Right, and so they should be at the 2.
Sure.
Let's see if our math is correct here, Mr. Stevens.
Now here's my question. If you have 2 personal fouls on the same play involving the same player.
Joe Call looking for some explanation as well.
Joe Call's down at the 10-yard line, about 10 yards onto the field, trying to maybe get some type of explanation. And he has called a timeout. And I will just tell you this. I was at the Summerville-Spartanburg game.
Yes, you were. You and Darren for a very long time.
We were there, yes, for a very long time. There you see the... All right, so this is what they're going to do. So it was a dead ball foul. Those 2 personal fouls were dead balls, so it is going to be a turnover on downs.
Gotcha, okay.
So it was not a...
Before the play ended.
Correct.
So once the dead ball possession has already been transferred over to the other team, and so that's why they're being penalized after obviously getting the ball.
Right. So they will start at the 3-yard line. It'll be Hancock inside. And my goodness, what a play. And they will call a safety. What a fantastic play by Jermonte Brinsbane to come off the quarter and corral, I believe that was Hancock, the running back, Daryl Hancock.
Brisbane's been all over the field tonight, coming from his secondary position, came in and met the running back. Looks like he got out of the end zone.
Turned him around, so there wasn't any.
I mean, don't they usually give you forward progress, which should have put the ball at the 1?
I thought he flipped forward progress into the end zone.
Huh. Well, good job by Brisbane, and again, I'm sure that's what Joe Call is asking, saying, hey, did we not get out of the end zone?
I'm sure we'll take a look at it again, but to me, it never seemed like he stopped his motion forward.
So he's here. Ball's out. I mean, the ball's, as you can see clearly, then he's pulled back in.
So you want it spotted at the 1 yard line.
Spotted at the 1 yard line.
Ball back to Summerville.
But again, I'm up here with you. I'm not wearing stripes.
No, you're not.
But it's a good break for James Allen, and those are the types of breaks that you need sometimes. And as hard as they played tonight, yes, they have had some tough breaks with the turnovers, but the defense, really the defense is not giving up a lot of points tonight because it's been all the Summerville defense scoring all of the points and giving the offense a short field.
Well, they haven't done their defense any favor, but the defense has continued to play hard tonight. How's that Clemson game looking over there?
I have no idea what you're referring to, Mr. Stevens.
Check your beeper. 24. Check your pager. See if we got any scores coming down.
Oh, look, I just got an update. 24-all.
There you go.
3 minutes to go in the third quarter. But here it's 32-8. a 24-point lead for Summerville. They'll obviously kick it back to James Allen.
And the big difference, ball's kicked off at the 20, not at the 35.
We talk about, carrying over and obviously just building a program and changing the mindset and the mentality of these kids. And, these kids, has been some long years for James Allen as of late. I mean, a proud tradition here on the island in the backyard. We think about obviously the biggest one being Roddy White.
Ooh, they're going to onside kick it and recover to the 35-yard line by a very attentive. I believe that would be number 50.
That's what it looks like. I'm going to go with Quavon Frazier. That's why you have to always check before you take off and turn and run. And we got a lucky bounce, went right into his hands. Is that 50, D?
No, I think it's 58 now.
Or is it 56? Maybe Luke Adams.
Okay.
Maybe?
I believe you.
Still can't, these numbers.
You got to talk to these people around here. So they're going to start first and 10, 35. That I know for sure. Shot out to the flat to number 14. That's Dynell Cromwell. He's going to go all the way down to the 27-yard line. We'll set up a second and very manageable 4.
Just keep it simple. Keep it simple. A simple swing pass out of the backfield. A high percentage pass for the quarterback, Mr. Daquan Vincent. Picks up about 8 yards and a manageable 2nd and 2.
Give it to Alston. He cuts through, lowers his head. Really like the way he slices through the defense as number 94 comes in to make the stop there for Summerville.
Yeah, they call it getting skinny, but when you look at Alston, 5'11", 210, he really does a good job. He obviously doesn't look like he's 210, but when he's had the opportunity to produce, he's come up big tonight for James Allen.
Again, number 94, Chase Schlott, is inside there with Jimmy Bracey on the play.
We talked about Alston in the pregame. Came in averaging 130 yards a game, on the ground. And unfortunately tonight, just not really able to get the ground game established early on between the turnovers and the passing game.
Well, yeah, they were down 15-0 in the blink of an eye.
Right, exactly.
Be first and second and 10 from the 19. Vincent 5 yards behind the center. Going to be a quick pass out to 14. Got to catch that ball. Looked up, saw number 40, Cole Phillips, bearing down on him, and it glanced off his hands and out of bounds.
Now you've thrown that swing pass a couple of times, Dean. Now you maybe want to set them up and maybe fake the swing pass and try to get a guy going.
You've been asking for that play now for about an hour.
Watch. I mean, you fake the bubble screen, or the swing pass, and then you hit somebody going right across the middle, wide open. Because they're going to.
I don't disagree with you, by the way.
Let me get on the other headsets, Dean.
But Summerville does have some help from the top. Now they're showing pressure up the middle and on the outside. Pressure going to come from the outside. Vincent's going to run the ball. He's going to find trouble to the outside. Spins. Doesn't even pick up a yard. Maybe a yard. We do going to have to pick up some laundry. Flag thrown at the 23-yard line. Usually from the area where it's a holding call.
And that would obviously, and it is holding. He actually had his wide receiver out in the flat wide open. Probably could have gotten it over to him.
Is that number 8, Lucas Snow?
I believe it was. Look at the.
Let's see what they want to do. Whether they want to decline it, make it 4th and 9, which I'm sure they would go for it.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to do.
Because they're not going to obviously send out the field goal team. So you've done a great job defending.
I think I'd much rather have it a 3rd and 20 than have a 4th and manageable.
I can agree with you on that. Push them back a little more. A lot of confusion on the James Allen sideline. Guys running in at the last moment. So I'm going to call maybe a swing pass here to the right.
We've got a huge wall coming up, and they're going to throw it back left side. Going to be a little short. Not going to matter. It's going to be a touchdown, and another 4th down conversion leads to the Berkeley Electric Cooperative's Touchstone Energy touchdown. And that is number 16, Rodney Helden.
Perfect call by the offensive staff of James Allen. Rolled right, had the whole defense flowing to its left. Then you throw it back to the wide open tight end on the left side of the field. And able to get into the end zone before Derek Larry able to put his hands on him. And a touchdown for the Trojans in the backyard.
How about that? Make it a 32-15 game. Great job by Lucas Snow to keep that ball on the tee. 32-15 now. And the last two touchdowns we saw, go back to the Summerville touchdown with 7:48 left on the clock. And it was a little trickeration.
Exactly.
Where the wide receiver throws it to the quarterback. And now on this play, everybody kind of floods the zone to the right. And Vincent, with his second touchdown of the night, throwing, just lays it out to Hamilton. Does a nice job beating a guy who's had his hands on the ball all night, defensive back Derek Larry for Summerville.
And I got caught looking in the backfield. So now it's a 17-point game. Believe it or not, Dean, still plenty of time left. 3:56 left in the third quarter. This game is not over by any stretch of the imagination.
That touchdown really set up by the squib kick, almost onside kick after the safety by Summerville. James Island started that drive at the 35-yard line.
And not a bad call by the Summerville coaching staff. Hope to catch them sleeping. And that was a perfect
You're up
bounce.
32-8. Why do you want to catch them sleeping?
Because you want to put them away.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Just
Okay.
Put it away.
Speaking of putting away, they're going to put it away and come to the left side. That is number 31, Deontay Geddes. He's a linebacker, but he runs like a running back.
Wow.
Taking it down to the 47-yard line of James Island.
Yeah, he was trying to get around that corner, and you're right. The tank that he is, Deontay Geddes, the 5'7", 178-pound senior.
Dear
Right
Joe
side.
Call, there is a guy who's a linebacker who could be a running back. Sincerely, anonymous fan.
Yeah, there used to be a guy that I played with over at Wando that was a linebacker that could, well, he did ran like a running back.
Who?
He went on to play for the Dallas Cowboys and the
Dexter Coakley.
St. Louis Rams.
Dexter Coakley.
Yeah.
He was really good.
Very
Bennett
good.
handed off to the left side. That's Hancock. He's got a steam, but he's also got number 7, Mr. Brisbane, standing right in front of him. Quite a collision.
Brisbane's going to enjoy getting in the cold tub tonight. He has played a heck of a game.
You know what I like most about that hit? It was looking like they were going to take him off, and he waved his hand, said, no, I'm good. Don't take me out.
Tough kid, Brisbane.
Yep. And that's leadership, and that is what he's looking for. And that's what's going to change the culture of this football program. 2 winning seasons over the last 12 years. Bennett facing a 2nd and 6 now at the James Island 48. Hancock up the middle, moving around a lot.
And really did a lot of running and didn't pick up but maybe a yard or two. So a good job by the defensive ends of James Island being disciplined, staying in their lanes, not over pursuing, letting Hancock come to them. And that forces a huge third down. You got to think, Dean, if they can get a stop here, boy, would Uncle Mo be on the side of the Trojans.
We'll take a look. 3rd and 6 right now. He's going to keep it himself. His feet and his legs are going to get more than the yardage he needs. He's going to find the possible touchdown unless he steps out of bounds, and he does at the 10-yard line. And I couldn't tell if a flag came in there late. I saw something flying over there. It may have been the ball boy just throwing up a water bottle. That play's going to stand. Take a look at it again. This is what makes this kid so attractive.
Big size, good size as a quarterback. Able to get through the middle, break it to the outside, and turn the corner. So as you take a look there at Bennett, mark him at 6'1", 205.
Just a junior. Facing a 3rd and 6, turning into a 1st and 10 from the James Island 12-yard line now as Summerville threatens here in the 3rd. He's going up top. He's got Shaq Davis. Get the hands up. Flags are coming out, and I don't believe it's an offensive interference. I think it's going to be more defensive. But that's, we've seen him a couple of times tonight where he hasn't gotten the hands elevated, right? Same thing when you're rebounding a basketball, right? Where are you going to rebound it?
Got to get the hands up.
Want to rebound it over your head, not down by your chest.
Where the little guys can have a chance. But pass interference will be called against the defense.
There's the signal from the official on the field. Touchdown, Summerville from the 12-yard line. Jonathan Bennett finding Shaq Davis back in the side of the end zone.
And that's the throw that we've been asking for all night, to take some off of it, get it up in the air, put a little air under it, and let Mr. Davis go up and make a play. And that's exactly what he did that time. That's why Summerville now has 38 points on the night, looking for their 39th.
A touchdown score really set up by the legs, a scrambling ability, and another difficult play by Owen McCurry.
Wow.
And watch this kid go.
Whoa. Not this time.
No.
Wow.
But he'll be the first one off the pile.
That's a major chestnut.
It's a 38-15 lead. A flag is down on the play. But they have had problems from center to the punter tonight, and center to the holder. Unsportsmanlike, late hit on James Island.
So that's going to allow them another opportunity. Let's see if Joe Call elects to go for two here, because the penalty will move it even closer to the goal line.
I think McCurry would like to decline the penalty and just keep the score 38-15.
Yeah, I don't think he wants a redo on that. He got hit pretty well. Now, he made a couple guys miss before that. And then finally, I guess the defense said they've had enough of Mr. McCurry
But the
running around.
the instincts are to pick up the bad snap and run around crazy. Next time he may just want to turtle it.
Let's see if they can convert on this particular attempt. Whoa.
Cotton short and to the right, so it's 38-15. So Joe Call has something to work on Monday morning. It'll be special teams. We talked about it going into the half, and certainly not going to be happy with it. But, on the whole, his quarterback has looked good tonight, running and throwing the ball at times. Second half, I would imagine there was conversation maybe at the half about lofting the ball, getting a little bit of air under, because we've seen it better in the third quarter.
And if you're Joe Call and you want to go deep in the playoffs, special teams obviously, it may not hurt you in a game like this tonight, but down the line when you get in that first round and second round, every point is so crucial and so important. And we've seen a lot of teams lose games on special teams, so that is definitely an area that Coach Call and his staff will have to clean up if they hope to advance far once the playoffs start.
We talked to Coach Call about McCurry, and I asked him, who's got chances to play on Saturday, and of course, he talked about Shaq, and he talked about the big offensive lineman Jackson Hutto, but he talked about McCurry and talked about his grades and just academically that he is near the top of his class, and he will have an opportunity to play at one of the local SoCon schools in the state. He talked about Presbyterian, talked a little bit about Wofford or Furman, but he could also be a preferred walk-on possibly at a Carolina or at a Clemson. But academics is a big part of who he is, and may want to take a look at a smaller school like that, play a little bit of football, and work on his academics. Not saying Clemson and Carolina don't have good academics, because they do. Didn't say it. Don't email my general manager. She don't want to hear from you. It's Friday night.
What about the Tar Heels? Do they have good academics?
Apparently they do have a good academic program. I'm going to tell you right now. I could have excelled at that school. From some of the things I saw today in the NCAA review that was handed down, the decision that they were not going to penalize the basketball team. Did they say the same thing of the football team?
I think nobody's getting penalized in Chapel
Nobody's
Hill.
getting penalized.
Yeah.
So I did see a paper that was written by an athlete that was about
paragraph,
8 lines.
Yeah.
That he got an A- on. Let's take a look at Vincent. He's going to throw the ball out on the flats. Got to catch the football.
It must have been a live ball, because the official didn't blow the play dead.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they were doing, but no one seemed to react from the play. The white hat says the ball's on the ground and it's dead ball. As for the official right next to the play, he didn't seem to make a move at all.
But you go back to talking about walking on. I mean, some guys have that dream, and obviously the most recent example that comes to mind that's worked out well is you look at Hunter Renfro. I mean, the wide receiver at Clemson caught the winning touchdown in the national championship game last year. Played quarterback at Myrtle Beach High School, had scholarship offers to smaller schools, but wanted to walk on, and it's worked out well. So those kids, if they have the desire and the drive to play at the big schools, I'm all for it.
2nd 11, go back to the same play. Going to be a bit more successful when you catch the ball, and they do. As Kavon Coker, another 10th grader. You look up and down this roster, 10th grade, 10th grade, 10th grade, 12th, 12th, 10th, 12th, 11th, 10th. Good things are on the horizon for this program.
It's a big 3rd down coming up here for this Trojan offense.
Going to throw it again. That was the first time that I can remember in this game that Vincent just whipped one across the field. He hit one on the touchdown pass. I take it back. But that one across the field from the far hash just kind of took off on him. But the arm strength was there.
Yeah, and unfortunately Lucas Snow is only 5'9", so a little bit high for him. He wasn't able to come up with the catch. But, yeah, had he been 2 or 3 inches taller, it would have been a perfect pass for him.
Coming after the ball again. It's going to bounce, check up at the 49-yard line. That's where they're going to spot it. Call it the 47-yard line. Summerville will take over there. So as we look ahead, and Summerville's got Stratford next week, which is always a big rivalry game. And then they've got Fort Dorchester, who I've not seen that score since I think we reported last 49-0. That Fort Dorchester was beating Ashley Ridge. If Summerville plays a clean game, I think they compete with them. And I think that they hold the field with them. That is a 70-0 final. That has been about 77. Oh, I see what Nick on the case says. It is 70 for Fort Dorchester and 7 for Ashley Ridge.
Wow.
But I think if Summerville has to play a clean game, I think they compete, and I think that they play into the 4th quarter with them.
Well,
but if they play sloppy as they did tonight, it'll get away from them. It'll get away from them quick.
I don't know about that one, Dino.
You don't like it?
And no disrespect to Summerville, but Summerville would have to have that play out the way that you just talked about it. Summerville would have to play an A+ game, and Fort would probably have to play like a C game. I mean, they would have to get some turnovers. They'd have to get some short fields, because that's a machine that Steve LaPrade has there on Ashley Phosphate Road.
All right.
I know rivalry games.
I'm going to call you in 2 weeks.
Please do. Please, I would love, because Fort Dorchester needs to be tested as they get ready for the playoffs. But in terms of this area, it's kind of something about that. It's Fort Dorchester, and they've just been so dominant over the past 2, 3, 4 years that I think a lot of it's just mental. And teams, they don't really think that they can beat Fort Dorchester, and that's half of the battle, is believing that you can and knowing that you will.
The Summerville team looking at 2nd 11 now. Bennett back, going to throw the ball up 38-15. McCurry with a great catch over his shoulder down to the 5-yard line. Anybody talk about Hunter Runfro tonight? Oh, you just did.
So what a catch by McCurry.
They opened the season beating Spartanburg. I believe they were number 1 in the state at the time. Beat them by 1. They had a pretty easy game against Goose Creek, 24-0. They beat Ashley Ridge by 17. West Ashley, they just beat by 3. Wando, they beat by 3 and had to beat them in the last minute and 40 seconds on a long Jonathan Bennett touchdown run.
So that same Wando team that Summerville beat by 3, Fort Dorchester beat Wando 67-0.
Yeah.
The same Ashley Ridge team that Summerville beat 25-22.
23-6.
Fort Dorchester beat them 70-7.
I'm just saying, as the clock comes to a close here at the end of the 3rd quarter, it is 38-15 Summerville over James Island. You're watching Friday Night Rivals, driven by Low Country Chevy Dealers. Welcome back to James Island and Friday Night Rivals, driven by your Low Country Chevy dealers. It's a 23-point Summerville Green Wave lead. 5 turnovers on the night for James Island has certainly hurt their cause and helped Summerville's.
Yeah, and right now they're trying to put the nail in the coffin here with a score to start the fourth quarter.
Back to McCurry. McCurry's going to sneak in right at the corner of the end zone. 7 more on the board, make it 44 to 15.
And Bennett actually executed on that particular throwing on the run, but it did a nice job of taking some off of it and then throwing a catchable pass by McCurry, and that's why he was able to complete the catch, get into the end zone, and just like that, the Green Wave an extra point away from a 30-point lead.
After James Island made it 32 to 15, they have now tacked on 2 straight touchdowns, looking to go up 45 to 15 right here on the extra point, and they do convert it. That is Ray Cotton with another extra point on the night.
And it just feels, even though, I mean, it's 45 to 15, but maybe it's just me, Dean, but it doesn't really feel like a 30-point game. I mean, I know James Island's had a bunch of turnovers, but they've been able to move the ball. They've come up with some defensive stops. They've had some success on special teams, but somehow, some way, it's just kind of gotten away from them. And it's a 30-point lead for the Green Wave.
Well, I think what's happened is that Summerville has taken advantage of all of them. Let's take a look at the Yadin Chiropractic smooth move of the game. You remember this one. The snap to Hancock, the pitch back to McCurry, the pitch and catch to the quarterback, Jonathan Bennett. And that is our Yadin Chiropractic smooth move of the game.
All about the execution. You can draw up the best play, but players have to execute, and that's exactly what they did with that smooth move from Yadin Chiropractic.
But I think that's why we're looking at a game that's a 30-point game, because they have made James Island pay almost at every turn.
Yeah, you got to take advantage of the opportunities. You have to capitalize on the turnovers. Of course, they had a couple that gave them outstanding field position, and the offense really in the first half didn't really have to produce much because the defense was doing so much. But you're right, that's the sign of a good team, is force turnovers, capitalize on them, and that's why they got 45 points tonight.
Kickoff straight down the middle. As Pickney taking it at the 5, going to take it up the middle to the 25, up to the 30. Chased down and tackled from behind at the 39-yard line. And he has been dynamic
from
the opening kickoff.
He really has. And, of course, unfortunately, he had one that was negated by a penalty. But you're right, Dean. That has been a very positive for James Island tonight. Was the punt or kickoff return team, I should say. He's probably averaging well over, I'd say, minimum 20, 25 yards on all of his returns.
That's Zacchaeus Pickney setting up at the 38-yard line. Vincent back at quarterback. And they're going to keep throwing the ball here. That's Snow to the outside, going to pick up 4. Ball on the ground. I believe he was already down. And that's what the officials are going to call right there. Sophomore wide receiver has been very active today, the 5'9", 155-pound Lucas Snow.
We don't have stats up here tonight, but I know we've called his name at least 5 or 6 times tonight. So you're right, Dean. Snow having a very productive night in terms of receptions.
And I like what Ike Allred's doing here. He's not running the ball. He's going to throw the ball, given the opportunities. Alston to the outside, going to break it away. Receiver stops blocking downfield. He keeps that block. He may pick up another 5 or 10 yards. It's going to lead to a second or third down and about 3 right now.
Yeah, Alston, he's still running like it's a one-possession game, and that's what you like to see from the younger kids, is playing until the clock says 0. Don't worry about the score. Don't play the scoreboard. Keep playing your game.
Vincent keeps it this time. Going to pick up the first down. I love the way the young man doesn't mind running people over. Apparently likes the contact.
And a great read that time, because had he handed the ball off to his teammate Jermaine Alston, he definitely would have lost about 4 or 5 yards. So good decision by the quarterback, Vincent. And the drive will continue.
They've fumbled a couple of those exchanges during this game, but not on that one. And then he comes back with a nice completion to the outside. Going to be close to the first down. Looks like he will pick up the first down and set up a 1st and 10 at about the 30-yard line. That was Kayvon Coker 10th grade wide receiver on the play, 6'1", 170.
And it seems like offensively, James Allen has had its most success when they've run that kind of jet sweep and just the simple swing passes, and those those are the mistakes that
Here's the thing.
Allred up at night.
Here's the thing. You have a kid.
Correct.
Right? I've got a couple kids. Everybody in this press box probably has kids.
Yeah.
It's the same way watching your child grow. There's going to be missteps, right?
You just hope they're not too big.
They're just
too many.
Well, even so, you keep on grinding.
You can't give up on them.
2nd and 10 from the 30-yard line.
Don't play the scoreboard. Just take play by play.
Alston's going to keep it this time, going to turn it and square his shoulders up and pick up 4 yards on the play.
I mean, he's a load when he gets those shoulder pads squared and going north and south.
He is.
He's a lot to bring down. This young man is running very hard tonight.
I was just laughing at your response when the snap was delivered a little early.
It's like anything and everything that could go wrong tonight for Ike Allred and the Trojans, it has.
That's exactly what he talked about on the phone, though. It was like, we do a couple of great things and then we do something not so great. Vincent back and look downfield is going to loft it up. Puts a nice ball back in the corner of the end zone, and that's where you want to throw the ball. Just unfortunately, his receiver could not create separation, but that was from the 35 back to the corner, so a 45-yard throw. Oh, it's the fans cam. And this may be the best fans cam of the year, the Zaxby fans cam, giving it to the homecoming queen. Yeah, raise the roof. You got the crown. 4th down and 5. They've converted, I think, all 12 fourth downs tonight. So let's see if we can go for one again. They've been very, very successful.
Just throw it to Alston to the right. Or
he's going to roll him out that way. He's going to turn up field and look to pick up the first down, but a really nice job on the play by Summerville's number 30. That's James Grant to identify as soon as Vincent tucked the ball, he came up and filled the gap.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he's going to come up short. So you're right, Dean. They're 12 for 13 tonight on 4th down conversions.
He's going to go over and talk to Ike Allred, and that's the body language that Ike Allred doesn't want to see. Keep your head up. You played a really nice game tonight, and nothing beats experience.
You're right.
Experience,
and you're going to continue to get better. You can't gain experience, obviously, watching. You're playing through it. And when you're in the same situation in the future, you'll be better prepared. You just have to stay together. You've got a good core nucleus of young kids. Just have to keep everybody involved and in the program.
Hancock going on the left side, going to pick up 5 and about 8 yards as he keeps churning up 30 yards. Take a look at number 46, a running back. That's Deion Cook in the backfield that lined up next to Hancock. Let's see if he's still in the ball game. This is what I call maybe more like a fullback. 5'10", 220,
just
senior.
Bowling balls, just low to the ground, big, wide, strong, physical guy.
Yep. So right now, you see a lot of clean uniforms for Summerville with 9 minutes left in the 4th. That is an indication that he is subbing in some of his backup players, giving them a chance to get on the field tonight, get a few grass stains.
These kids work hard Monday through Thursday. Have earned the right to play.
Nice job on the outside on the edge. Who was that, number 45 for James Allen, I believe.
Like
Mark Walker called his name a couple of times tonight.
These guys have just continued to play, playing to the very end. And if you're Summerville right now, you just want to work on use as much time on the play clock, pick up a couple of first downs, and hop on the bus and head back to Summerville with the W.
There's 46. Let's take a look here. 3rd and 2. Let's see if they get to the big fella.
Well, at least run right behind him.
Not going to do it. Going to give it to Hancock. I don't think he's going to get the first down. Maybe his 3rd effort. I don't believe the first or the second work. I think they're going to call it a first down, and they do. So it'll be 1st and 10 from their own 32-yard line. The clock stopped at 7:59.
Deion Cook with the kind of kick-out block there. James Allen blitzing the gaps, and Cook picked up the initial pass rusher.
We haven't spent a lot of time talking about Joe Collar Summerville tonight. You know, his first year, that interim year, he was 4-8, taking over for his granddad, of course, John McKissick. And then the first year that he was named permanent head coach, finished 7-6. I know he was disappointed in it. There's another nice play back behind the line of scrimmage. I believe that's Walker again. And then this year, sitting at 5-1, and I kind of asked him, you know, what the big change was. And for him, it was about transition. I mean, first of all, difficult to take over for a legend. Even more difficult to take over for your grandfather.
Right.
But there were some people on the sideline and coaches who had been with Coach McKissick for a long time. And I think it was a difficult process, but he said he needed to bring in some of his own guys. And that gave him the ability to take over the offense, which as a former quarterback, it's what he wanted to do. But he wanted to, you know, as he prepared to be a head coach, you know, he's trying to help these young guys, some of the coaches on his staff, to be ready as well. A lot of the coaches, he said, are former Summerville guys, are former Citadel guys that he had played with. But he said the number one word was accountability. They needed accountability.
When you look at, like you said, you want to kind of put your own stamp on the program because you're the head coach and you're not your grandfather. You're not John McKissick. So you have to do things, you know, your way. So, yeah, you surround yourself with your people that have the same vision as you, the same drive. And that's what he's done. I mean, you look at his assistant coaches, you know, Omar Nesbitt, Ian Linke, A.J. Glover.
No, Nesbitt played with the Panthers, so there's some experience there as well.
You know, Aaron Self had an outstanding career at the Citadel. Comp McCurry, Jamie Tyler, Keith Powell, Chris Collins, Kevin Abella. She's another Citadel guy. Ken White. So, yeah, it's just the little things of getting those young guys that are hungry like him. These guys can relate to today's youth. You obviously have to handle them differently. And slowly but surely that change is coming.
Bennett throwing the ball, going to get it out to his wide receiver. That is number 80, Elijah Glover. Hey, fans, our cheer of the week winner. The streak continues, E-Dog.
Yes, the home team with the win. Congratulations to the Trojans as they win the cheer of the night. James Island.
4th and 5, punt team coming out for Summerville. I've not seen a lot of them tonight. They've really cashed in. So, you know, I think that when, you know, talking to Joe the other day, you know, some of the things, the one thing I asked him, I was like, you know, what is it, you know, that you learned from your granddad? You know, what is the one thing that you took away from him? I mean, you saw him as a kid. He saw him as a player. He saw him as a coach, as an assistant coach for him. But he talked about time management and talked about the importance that you have to prepare your time just as much as you prepare your players. He said the season's long. Don't just meet to make a difference. All right, the Will Lou Gray Never Stop Learning Stop of the Game. Let's take a look. Bennett in the backfield, and the big sack for the Jimmy Bracey, the senior, credited with the safety, all 6'4", 220, wearing that very popular number 7 if you're a tall, lanky defensive end.
One of the bright spots for James Allen tonight, being able to come up with the safety. Brisbane very busy tonight, which is sometimes good and bad. I don't know if you want cornerbacks making a lot of tackles.
I do have a bone to pick with you. Not really a bone to pick with you. I just need you and I have to have a conversation.
Hey.
And we're going to have it on the air.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Summerville with 5:10 on the clock, clinging to a 45-15 lead. Going to punt the ball. It's going to be back. Is that Pickney again as the ball checks up? Summerville go ahead and downing it at the 30-yard line.
There's a penalty flag on the play. And that's actually a win for Summerville because they were able to get the punt off.
They were able to. Indeed it was. Oh, by the way, McCurry punts as well. It's going to be holding. Let's see what Ike does. They're going to back him up, so we're going to go ahead and let's just keep it here, and we'll watch this punt again. So, sorry. Nothing like directing from the booth.
To let them,
yeah,
let them know what you want, Dean.
I've been accused of doing that once or twice in my career. Now it's been 3 times. So we're going to keep you right here as they get a chance to practice their snaps back to the punter. And that is McCurry. So not only does he catch passes, throws passes, he also gets to punt, scrambles around like a crazy man. But it's been fun watching the McCurry kids play. Coach McCurry on the sideline doing a great job. Here we are.
Can they go 2 for 2 on this end? They do.
Yes, we can. A low liner. This one's going to be returnable. He's going to take it to the right side. A little bit of speed. Going to run right over at his number 9, Corey Hewitt. James Island sets up shop at the 42-yard line of Summerville. I got a great idea. We should go to break. It's 45-15, 4:50 left on the clock. You're watching Friday Night Rivals with one of the greatest TV crews back in the truck. They're all driving Low Country Chevys. Welcome back. Time now to take a look at your Low Country Chevy dealer's key player of the game. In this case, key players, and it all started early, E-Dog.
Yeah, interceptions. 4 interceptions tonight for the secondary of the Summerville Green Wave. So kind of hard to just give it to one, Dean. So we'll just give it to the entire secondary led by Corey Hewitt, leading the way for the Green Wave.
Don't forget about Derek Leary. He had his hands on, I think, 3 of them tonight. Nice job by the defensive backs. I think they go back and look at this videotape for James Island. They learn a ton. 45-15, a chance to get some more work in by Daquan Vincent. Quarterback looked good tonight behind center. Looking right, going to go deep. Throws a great ball, and he's wide open.
Oh, my goodness. Those are usually the most difficult ones to catch when you're that wide open, and Rodney Hamilton, who's made a ton of great plays tonight, is going to see that one in his dreams tonight.
Well, then this is what I'm going to tell you right now. Daquan Vincent threw a great ball.
I mean,
and that is right. And we have seen him throw that deep ball a couple of times tonight with air underneath it. And
we call that dropping dimes.
That's what we talk about. Alston turning the corner, running hard, going to pick up a yard, if that. 4:35 on the clock. So Summerville getting some work in for some of their second string and third string guys.
Get a little air time. being recognized. Like you said, Dean, a lot of clean white jerseys.
Clean white helmets. Vincent back, going to go left side again, going to step up, throw the ball, throws it a little late. Had him for a second, and that's where experience comes into play. You see him when you see him, let the ball rip.
And he also had a wide receiver wide open in the middle of the field. Did not see that particular teammate. But needless to say, third down coming up for the Green Wave.
4th and 8, and they have been truly remarkably successful on fourth down conversions. I believe they converted their first 5 throughout the first half of this football game and into the third quarter. They missed on one here in the fourth. Let's see what they do with Vincent. See if they get him out of the pocket, let him run, create a little magic here. Step back. He's got some room. He's got some room to run. He's going to have the first down. He's going to go to the left side. A nice block. He's going to throw the flag. Vincent down to the 5-yard line. I think his head was around him, but I am the eternal optimist.
That definitely
You didn't
was
know
a block
that
in the
about me,
back.
did you?
I did not. I learned something new every day, Dean, but that was definitely a block in the back.
Are you sure?
It wasn't even close. I think we all, as soon as it happened, and he knew it as well because he tried to pull off, and it was just too late.
Are you sure?
I'm positive, just like I'm sure if Syracuse picks up 4 yards here on this play, Clemson's going to lose to Syracuse.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Would Alabama lose a game like this?
Probably not. No, they wouldn't.
Why is... All right, let's take a look at this play.
Right there. It's kind of like a clip.
know.
You know, kind of a clip.
I think it was a side swipe. I would say it was a side swipe.
But again, unfortunately for us, Dean, we're not the ones making the decision.
I know. I just, listen, the thing that I've learned through 27 years of being in this market is you got to be fair. You got to be nice to the kids.
Oh, absolutely. You
Right.
never want to be critical. You want to be supportive.
I will always choose the kid over the official.
Kid over adult.
No, I didn't say that.
Kid over adult.
No. I like the effort. How about that? Vincent looking at, by the way, that was converted another 4th down. Vincent going to do it again, keeping him this time down to the 34-yard line. I like how he competes. His dad was a heck of a football player, by the way.
Yes, indeed. And definitely, like you said, a competitor, somebody who's going to play into the end and just picks up a first down for the Trojans.
3:40 on the clock. There we go. Alston wants it. He wanted it on the last carry, didn't get it. He's going to pick up a touchdown with 3:32 on the clock. That one from 30 yards out. And again, we're not keeping stats, but I would imagine that puts him close to the 100-yard mark. He averages 130 yards per game. That his 10th touchdown on the year.
And a big run from the big guys down the left sideline. Nice cut back there and able to take it to the house. And it's all about finishing strong.
Number 9, Jermaine Alston, a senior, 5'11", 210. Going to make it a 45-21. And we're missing somebody
right anchor
on the offense.
Yeah. And these are the things that Ike Allred and his coaching staff can build on. And yes, Syracuse picks up the first down, so it looks like number 2 Clemson's going to go down to Syracuse.
They might fumble the ball, right? They could fumble the ball.
Optimism in you, Dean, but yeah.
You're sad, aren't you?
No, I'm just smiling ear to ear.
The extra point is down. The extra point is up. The extra point is good. Make it a 45-22 game.
But again, for this coaching staff of James Allen, this is what you like to see. You can build off of this. You know, when you get into film study on Monday, you show how you didn't quit, how you competed to the end, and you show, hey, when we do things the right way, when we block like we're supposed to, when we line up the correct way, this is the end result. So
right.
A good job by James Allen. Let's see if they come back with an onside kick.
Well, I think if I'm Ike Allred right here, I'm going to kick the ball to him. And then I'm going to talk to my defense about give my offense the ball back one more time.
Gotcha.
Play hard defense, and let's score one more touchdown here.
Is that our...
And like you said, let's play to the end. Our Chevy Silverado drive of the game. We love when you put the head down. Taking on, that was big number 7 there, Jermaine Brisbane. And then the touchdown run to the touchdown pass from Bennett up to Shaq Davis. Made it a 38-15 game. Jack Davis got the tools, got the physical ability to be scary in the years to come.
So let's see. I think, Dean, he's going to go onside based on the alignment.
All right.
I'm going to try and kick it to his left. Because even if you don't get it, you can still tell your defense.
Right.
You got to play some, get three.
Okay.
3 and out.
So he doesn't. He's not really
Well, I guess that
angled
was
up. Here comes the angle right here. A little pooch. Gets a nice bounce.
Oh.
It was a great bounce.
Let's see who came up with the recovery.
It is number 8.
That will be one Mr. Kevon Gregory. So with 3:32 left.
Looks like Andre Banks, who took over for Bennett after Bennett lost his headgear on a play, is going to come in and take over the quarterback reins.
And you don't see that often, Dean. Your tight end is your backup quarterback.
He's going to give it to Coker. There's my man. Just rumble and stumble, kid.
Put a penalty flag as the play stopped before he could even get to rumbling and stumbling.
They're going to back him up 5 yards here.
It's just amazing. You look at technology now, Dean. We're up here.
Yes.
Obviously calling the Summerville James Allen game.
Yeah. Here's the thing about technology that I find fascinating, right? Is that on the sidelines now, you've got the tents, the TVs, and the ability to have replay. You can watch the games right there. Give it back to the big fella. Coker's inside. Oh, don't try to tackle him high.
No, please
and don't try to tackle him low.
Don't make that mistake, because you will indeed end up on the Thursday Night Rivals recap next week as someone who possibly may have got ran over.
Yeah, I love it. Make it 2nd and 12. About 3 minutes on the clock here. Friday Night Rivals coming to the backyard for the first time. This is the second time that we've seen Summerville play on a Friday night. Fortunate enough to open with them in their big 41-40 win over Spartanburg.
Yeah, I remember watching you and Darren that night. I was at...
Where were you?
I think I was hosting clients at a River Dogs game maybe, and got in the car and turned on the radio, and I was listening to the Summerville feed and got home and was watching you guys. I'm like, wow, they really like high school football. Yeah.
Well,
there you have it.
I don't know how good Syracuse is, but they were 3 points better than Clemson tonight.
That's right. They upset the number 2 team in the country, 27-24.
Is that a Jim Boeheim-led Syracuse club tonight?
Yeah, another one that doesn't necessarily maybe go to class.
Stop it.
It's the orange.
Well, they just took Clemson to school. Banks going to throw it, going to one-hop it to number 81 on the outside. That's Andre Wright.
And see, Banks is used to catching passes, not, obviously throwing.
All right, so Ike Allred got his wish. His defense held him. Got 2 minutes left. Going to try to score, put up another 7 on the board.
And that would be huge, as you talked about it, Dean, being able to, like you said, get this punt and then go through your 2-minute drill. Because, again, you don't need it tonight, but there's going to be a time where you will need to drive the length of the field with 2 minutes or less left on the clock.
Well, I think what it does as well, aside from his experience, Ola McCurry doesn't have to chase the ball anywhere, just going to punt it. Nice move by Pinckney to the right and the left is going to split it. This kid can return kicks now for positive yardage. Love it. But I think what it does more than anything else, Everett, I think it works between the years. You got a team that's 1-6 on the year, winless in the conference, and you're able to finish on a positive note. You come up with a couple of good fourth quarter drives, and I think it helps there more than anything else.
And you're right. I mean, you kind of have to change that mentality, not hope to win, but expect to win, and learn how to play through difficulties, learn how to play with the lead.
Benson stepping back, waiting for his receiver to make the move. Couldn't figure out if he was looking, he had 2 receivers kind of right in the same area. The slot receiver kind of late on the break, he was looking for him. But again, let the young man throw the football.
And these guys, I mean, we talked about only one win on the season, but there's a lot of potential. I mean, this offense, 22 points against a very good Summerville defense. They've moved the ball, but they kind of killed themselves with the turnovers. So it's not like they couldn't get anything going. The fact that they just couldn't capitalize, that would be the next step in terms of this program, is being able to capitalize when you got things going well and not kill yourself with turnovers or with, inadvertent snaps that go into the to the guy that's in motion. Just the little things of those nature, holding on to the football, all correctable mistakes.
Well, 5 turnovers in the first quarter, and if you'd have told me they had a chance to finish, nice move to the outside. Look at the
face mask.
Looks like it'd be a face mask right there. Was that 29?
Yeah, Dion Williams on the stop for the Green Wave.
You see the nice cut and the nice move. Now, see, I can see the numbers there. That's Gavin Wright, 5'6", 152, listed as a DB. Remember I told you he took a lot of those defensive backs from like the offensive side of the field?
Correct.
Okay, had some nice moves. Vincent back looking left. Going to throw it out into exactly where Wright was. That's a great play for a young quarterback. Knew he had his outlet guy, his emergency guy to his left. Play did not develop downfield, and just at the last split second, found Wright.
And his ability to step up in the pocket. As you see here, he kind of felt the rush and the pressure coming from behind him. Able to just dump it off to the safety valve. Smart play.
Minute 11 on the clock, and Ike Allred calls a timeout again. Working that 2-minute offense, like you said.
Exactly.
Is that Dino Babers?
Yes.
Where was Dino Babers before? Where was he before Syracuse? Was he like a Mid-American school?
I'm not sure. I just know Dino Gaudio used to be at Wake Forest. There's not many guys named Dino in the coaching profession, But congratulations to Syracuse. I mean, hey, they won. Apparently, Kelly Bryant.
I love this.
Kelly Bryant.
This is the best part of my whole night right now.
Got hurt. Apparently, concussion. Was pretty gimpy on the ankle.
And people all over the Dabo, like people killing Dabo right now because they played him to begin with?
I guess apparently he did not look comfortable. He was very favorable on the ankle. Wasn't very mobile. So he's basically a sitting duck back there. So.
2nd and 2 for Vincent. Fakes, gonna move around, gonna throw it deep. Got actually crushed, but put the ball right on the money.
And that's Rodney Hamilton again. Now that time, Dean, it wasn't clear.
Coverage.
Yeah, he had a little bit of distraction in terms of the defender of Summerville. That looks like it's.
But again, I like how the kid stands in the pocket, sets his feet.
Is that Grayson Mobley?
And right there. I mean, he's right on the money. Then he's going to run it again here. Going to take it to the left side, reaches out for the first down. 1:05 on the clock. They want to be able to score here to make it a 45-29 game.
Luke Taylor, the first Green Wave there on the stop. So 4th and 1.
He's going to spike the ball. No, it's first and 10.
First 10.
Yep, made the first down, stopped the clock. Even though they did have 2 timeouts he could have used. Looks like one of his linemen had a missed shoe alignment. Or a shoe misalignment. Vincent with 2 running backs in the backfield, a couple receivers to the top. Going to give it to his main running back. Alston's going to pick up about 4.
And Ike Allred and his staff, they're coaching to the very end, not giving up on the kids. And like you talked about, Dean, that will resonate with these kids, that the coach has not quit on them. He believes in them, and he's treating this as if they need a score to win the game.
Looks left, throws left, puts it right on the money. Get out of bounds, young man.
Yeah, now's not the time
I think
to
he
fight
stepped
for
out of
extra
bounds
yards.
about 35 seconds ago, but I could be wrong.
Well, how about the throw by Vincent? I mean, a rocket over to the sideline.
I think he's gotten more confident with his throwing, his release, as this game has gone on.
Loosened up and starting to kind of get a feel for it. And sometimes it does take guys a little more time to kind of get engaged and kind of get a feel for what's going on. But needless to say, this future of this program very, very, very bright.
First and 10, first and goal from the 10. He's rolling right. Got nobody open, going to throw it short side, was very patient. Snow gets jacked out of bounds at about the 4-yard line. But again, good patience by the young quarterback. Now James Island's going to use one of their final 2 timeouts.
Kayvon
All right.
Gregory with the big hit.
So here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
If Deshaun Watson was traded tomorrow
Correct.
to the Jaguars, would you still be a Texan fan? Nope.
Well, there's still other Clemson guys on the Texans. I mean, you got Nuke there, you got Corey Reeder
Okay,
there.
stop. Were you a Texan fan last year when Nuke was on the team? No.
No.
Right.
But
I'm gonna tell you what. This is a
but trust me.
sticking point in my family.
But trust me.
We let you people onto our bandwagon.
Deshaun Watson will never be traded from
And then
the Houston Texans.
You Clemson fans want to jump on the bandwagon. We let you on. You know, we didn't charge you much, right? There was a small fee to get on the bandwagon.
I mean, come on, 10 touchdowns in the last 2 games.
But then all of a sudden we figured out if all of a sudden we traded Deshaun Watson to the Jaguars and you no longer be a fan of ours.
Just drive 3.5 hours so I can see Deshaun play every Saturday.
You're more of a Deshaun Watson fan, not a Texan fan.
There's, and I thought about this when the Texans played on Sunday night. There's like 8 Palmetto State guys on your roster.
I know.
Like the whole defense.
I know. And they tried out Connor Shaw the other day. Vincent going right, going to throw it back left. Great play.
Got a guy wide open in the end zone.
No, but that wasn't the play. The play was the throwback, and we've seen it once before. Was that big number 53?
Did he report as an eligible receiver?
Therese Drayton, 6'2", 240?
How about that? Little trickery. So James Allen says, hey,
Here
Summerville, you got trickery. We got trickery as well. And good thing he caught that because that would have been a live ball.
Look how big the kid
just
love
rumbling
it.
Yeah.
Holds on to the ball.
Looked like he knew what he was doing there.
15 seconds on the clock. Oh, they're saying.
Joe Call questioning.
Joe, I've known you since you were a little boy. Time for Big Daddy to go home, go to bed. Oh, he's waving his cap, telling his defense to get back.
And that's why I asked, I mean, did he report? And it definitely was a live ball because it was thrown backwards. So had the big guy not been able to come up with the catch, it could have been a fumble, a scoop, and 6.
If you take a look across the sidelines of the 50-yard line, exiting the stadium on the Summerville sidelines in the bright yellow jacket, followed by another bright yellow jacket, is John McKissick and his lovely wife, Joan McKissick. They come and support Joe at every game. That Spartanburg game, it was, I'm telling you, the heat index was 120. And I turn around, it's about an hour before kickoff, and 2-point conversion's good. And I look up at the stands, and there's Miss McKissick. She's in the yellow jacket right there, walking over. And I walked up to her, and I said, my goodness, Miss McKissick, what are you doing here? And she said, I went to all of my husband's games an hour before kickoff, and I'll do the same for my grandson. And I said, well, where's the old man?
Right.
She said, under a tree in the shade.
Oh, Coach McKissick, that's what high school football is all about, a living legend.
45-30, 2-point conversion good. And I'm telling you, what these last 2 possessions, I think, has done for this team really can't be measured by the points on the board.
Right. I mean, you look at the sideline, there's life in the sideline. These guys know, yeah, it's going to be almost impossible to score 15 points in 15 seconds, but they scored. They're ending on a good note. You never want to get complacent and happy with, well, we played well but lost. You know, you don't want to get to that mindset.
Right.
But you want to have something positive that you can build on, and that's exactly what I think James Allen has done on these last 2 possessions.
Cheerleaders getting in their final 30 push-ups of the night. Let's see if we squib this one or we pooch it. We're going to onside kick it again. Ball's on the ground. Oh, James Allen had it for a minute in that lone white jersey. Who else?
Of course.
The bank is open for deposit.
Catching touchdowns.
Throwing a touchdown.
Backup quarterback, and now having to recover the onside kick.
I've always said this, and it remains true tonight. I think the coolest thing about being at these games and the opportunity with My TV Charleston and ABC News 4 and everybody here that makes this possible for us to do these games is that you get an opportunity to look at a kid like Banks, who we had never seen before. Never seen a kid like Banks before. Never seen a kid like Vincent come off the bench and play a great game, right? You're home right now. You've turned off the lights. You're going to bed because Clemson lost. And here comes my big fella.
Look at him.
Yes.
All the way to the secondary.
Down the 32-yard line. Right?
Wow. That's what I'm talking about.
And
Give
I would
the
have
big
never
guy some
seen
glory.
him play either.
Oh, boy.
Love it. Show it to me again. Hits the hole pretty quick now.
He covers the ball.
Hancock with a nice block, giving him an opportunity to pick up some yardage here. 6 seconds left, running clock. They're going to call it. Joe Call leading his players and his coaches for a midfield meeting with Ike Allred. And I believe they'll compete with Fort Dorchester in 2 weeks. I think it'll be a close game, and I believe that Ike Allred will be successful with this program.
Yeah, they can just stick with him. The community can continue to support him and back him, and more importantly, the players stay together. No one jump ship. Understand that bigger, better, brighter days are ahead. Just got to stay together and believe that you can one day.
45-30 final score from James Island. Friday Night Rivals driven by Low Country Chevy dealers coming in to the final turn. There's your final score, 45-30, as for the second time this year, Summerville wins on Friday Night Rivals. Let's go down to the field with our Josh Rogers.
Hey, joined by head coach Joe Call and the Summerville Green Wave. You guys 2 wins this season on FNR, 5 in a row. The momentum's got to feel good.
Yeah, we play, it's 2 wins on TV. We play these long games, but our guys like playing on TV. They like, putting these nice uniforms on and playing in front, get a lot of their friends that didn't get to make the trip, get to watch them on TV.
Let's talk about these uniforms. First time in school history wearing the all-white. What went into that decision?
Went a little, the players get, they get excited about, a little different uniform. It gives us different combinations. But I'd like to thank our Summerville Exchange Club. They provided the funds for that, and the kids love them. They look beautiful. So, like I said, we're 1-0 in them.
Awesome. Well, the uniforms look good. They look even better with a piece of hardware to take. The Green Wave, take over hardware. Back to you in the booth, guys.
All right, Josh, thanks so much. Summerville improved to 6-1, face Stratford next week, and then a date looming with Fort Dorchester. The Patriots with a big win tonight against Ashley Ridge. We thank you so much for choosing